A disappointing Week 1 loss has College of the Canyons in unfamiliar position, looking for a bounce back in Week 2 against a tough non-league opponent who's looking to cement themselves as a top contender in the 3C 2A. It's College of the Canyons and Fullerton in Week 2 on the Cougar Sports Network and SoCal College Sports and SCV TV. Hello there and welcome in alongside College of the Canyons Director of Public Information and Public Relations and Sports Information, Jesse Munoz. I am Matt Robinson. So glad to have you along with us once again for another season of Cougar football. And Jesse, before the season even began, we knew this would be a season of change for College of the Canyons, so to speak, simply by the way the schedule was put together. And the Cougars foregoing their traditional 6 p.m. starts for a handful of different start times this season. It's actually a change as you look at the graphic on your screen. Today was supposed to start at 1 p.m. Instead, we've got a 5 p.m. start, but you look down the line, Palomar next week at 4 o'clock, a couple of home games at 2, and a little earlier than what we're used to here at Cougar Stadium.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Matt. You know, a little bit of a tweak in the schedule, game times, but like the coaches are fond of saying, it's going to be the same intensity, it's going to be the same mantra, it's going to be the same traditions here with College of the Canyons Cougar football. And, we start like no other. A little bit of weather, a little bit of warm weather. We wouldn't be in Santa Cruz in the fall without it.
It is very hot today, up in the 90s, almost 100 degrees. When we talk about change, the schedule isn't the only new thing this season. The National Northern League also very different, and really all of the leagues in the National League in the southern part of the state, the SCFA, very different. A really big change for COC this year. Simply, you look at it, conference realignment very much taking place, but not in the traditional one-for-one sense. Like we said, much different look. This year, Canyons has Antelope Valley, Moore Park, Santa Barbara, all moving up. El Camino moving over, and you look, it's really just a mishmash now this year.
Yeah, the one thing I can say, different conference, different, league opponents, but still some familiar names on there. You see Antelope Valley, a traditional, just a regional rival here since the football program came back. Same with Moore Park. We've had our battles with them. Same with Santa Barbara. So some regularity in terms of seeing teams you see from around Southern California. But, with new league opponents, who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to be a completely different year. One thing that does stay the same for College of the Canyons, Coach Iacenda back once again as the head man. He has had a very nice tenure with COC. This is his 11th year with the Cougars. 65 wins, 4 conference titles. You see the numbers on your screen. Not really many more things that you can say about Ted Iacenda other than just has done a phenomenal job.
Yeah, tremendous job here, Matt. And I think the most important number you see on that screen is the 160 transfers. Every year, year in and year out, that is the goal of this program, is to get guys in and send them to the next level and let them pursue their academic, athletic careers. So if you ask Coach Iacenda and anyone on the staff, that is the most important number. And, another successful year coming out of 2022, you have 20-plus guys sent to 4-year schools.
The good thing for Ted Iacenda as well, another thing that kind of stays the same, the coordinator is very similar this year. When you look, Dan Corbett still as the defensive coordinator. You've got David Banks as the offensive coordinator, and Seth Othransky as the offensive coordinator. So co-offensive coordinators, both of them come back. So a little continuity on the offensive side. And then, of course, defensive coordinator Dan Corbett, who's been here for 16 years and pretty much has been the DC for all of those.
Been here 16 years as a coach. You forget played for this program in this stadium under Chuck Lyon. So, again, a lot of continuity with David Banks, Seth, Coach O. So it should be another exciting season. I know just in talking to those gentlemen, a lot of players, a lot of skill players on offense, and just a lot of dudes that can go out and make plays on the defensive side of the ball. We saw a couple of those last week.
The positional coaches, some familiar faces coming in this year, but a much larger position coach staff than we've seen in the last few years.
Yeah, Coach Mark Dumlau does a tremendous job with that offensive line. Caden Dunn, another former player, returning back to the program. Sione Tafahima, another former player. And then, again, some of the new names, Eddie Kelly, Terry Johnson Jr., Amor Cologne. Do definitely want to mention Matt and Melissa Hawley, new to our staff this year. Melissa, the Director of Football Operations, doing a lot of good things for the Cougars.
Now, let's get into the matchup here today. We've talked enough about the coaches. We've talked enough about the schedule. We've talked enough about the realignment. Let's talk about the matchup here today. Fullerton, ranked in the top 25 right now. I believe number 4 in the state rankings. College of the Canyons, 23-25 in the state rankings. So 2 top 25 teams. And it's going to be a tough matchup for COC. You're coming in off a Week 1 loss, a disappointing loss to a citrus team at 34-28. But now you try and bounce back against a really good program on the other side in Fullerton.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Fullerton is one of those programs, much like College of the Canyons, that is going to be tough year in and year out. Doesn't matter the schedule, doesn't matter the conference, doesn't matter where they're playing. This is a team that's going to bring it. And like I said, these teams have had some battles. Last year, Fullerton was able to get out of Cougar Stadium with the victory, but you go back a couple of years, College of the Canyons has returned that favor. So should be a good one. Week 2, everyone had a chance, kind of a rehearsal to see what they had and have an opportunity to clean things up. This should be a good one here tonight, Matt.
Last season, Fullerton defeated College of the Canyons 29-24 down at Fullerton. It was a tight matchup. Quarterback Josh Calvin led the Hornets with 205 passing yards. He is gone. Different unit coming in for Fullerton. Much different unit coming in for COC. It should be a good one. We'll step aside for a few moments. Opening kickoff when we come back here on the Cougar Sports Network, SoCal College Sports, and SCV TV. College of the Canyons is always ready when it comes to your athletic future. With 17 intercollegiate sports programs to cheer for, opportunities for student athletes to learn, train, and compete, and a championship mindset that has produced state and national titles, College of the Canyons and the Cougars athletics programs offer a great college experience. Take control of your athletic future at College of the Canyons. Visit canyons.edu/schedule and cocathletics.com now.
At Jersey Mike's, watching them freshly slice your sub is the coolest thing you'll see. And the second coolest thing you'll see is this.
Woo! Here we go. Twirl. Up, up, big, two. Hand down. One hand. Up. No. Flip.
I could eat.
Sliced right in front of you. The Jersey Mike's thing. A sub above.
Meet Nigel Terry. In 2018, UCLA Health made him Laker for a day. Not because he beat cancer once, he beat cancer twice. He inspired us to push, to make the impossible possible. Because that's what Nigels do. And the world needs more Nigels. UCLA Health.
Our sports medicine program here at College of the Canyons is meant to introduce students who are interested in some type of career in sports medicine. Most of my students are interested in careers as an athletic trainer, physical therapist, or orthopedic surgeon. So when they're done with our program, they will have their Associates of Science. Do you love sports? And do you take satisfaction from seeing someone go from injury all the way back to the sport that they love? Then this is a program you should definitely consider.
At College of the Canyons, we're always here to help make your future remarkable. Choosing classes is always flexible, so you can study your way. Learn at one of our 2 state-of-the-art campuses, or from home with our online options. Tuition is always affordable, with classes starting at just $46 per unit. We offer financial aid and 0 textbook cost classes to help you save. Always flexible, affordable, remarkable. Always College of the Canyons. Visit canyons.edu/schedule now. College of the Canyons football on the Cougar Sports Network is presented by Jersey Mike's. Try one of our authentic, fresh sliced, and fresh grilled subs, always made to order. It's a Jersey Mike's thing. UCLA Health, delivering leading-edge patient care, research, and education. Chick-fil-A, we may be in the restaurant business, but really, we're about serving people. It's the little things. If you have a business and want to support COC Athletics, please contact the athletic department at 661-362-3491. Go Cougs! Welcome back for college football here on the Cougar Sports Network, SoCal College Sports and SCV TV. As we are week 2, Fullerton at College of the Canyons. Opening kickoff coming up. COC will kick to Fullerton as the Hornets won the toss and took the football here in the first half. Matt Robinson alongside Jesse Munoz here with you. Happy to be here once again for COC football here in 2023. As the Cougars in their yellow uniforms, as you can see there on your screen, they're this I Promise across the front. Fullerton in their road whites with blue helmets, as it will be Tony Johnson to kick things off for College of the Canyons. One of 2 freshman kickers this year for COC. For Fullerton, standing back to the scene, Kadari Kearns, along with Kavan Bills, standing back to receive right about their own 10-yard line, as we are ready for week number 2 here in the SCFA. Short pooch kick from COC. It's going to land at the 25, taken by Fullerton, brought back up across the 40, all the way to the 45-yard line. The return by number 49 for Fullerton. It was, and we'll figure that out actually here in a minute, but it's going to be Fullerton with the football to start here.
And Matt, I think number 20, Jeremy Alameo came in with that first stop there on the special team. So, you know, you got to figure these guys home opener out there buzzing around, going to want to look to make an impact here early and often. So here we go.
It was Michael Roca on the return for Fullerton. Brandon Nunez is the quarterback for the Fullerton Hornets. Sophomore out of Mountain View High School, 166 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions last week against Santa Barbara. 12 for 28 during that game, as he'll stand in the shotgun, hands off. Right to Garnett Davis III, who's wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage by a quartet of Cougars. And a loss of a yard for Fullerton on their first down. It'll be 2nd down and 10, or 11.
And right there to meet him, number 44, R.B. Wilson out of Henderson, Nevada. And like we said, these guys are going to want to get in there. We talked about earlier, a lot of skill players on both sides of the ball. So if you can get in, make some stops, get your name in the stat sheet, you're probably going to earn some more playing time.
3 wide up on the far side of the screen for Fullerton here on 2nd down. Nunez to throw, kind of shorts it, gets it into Cougar territory, but it's knocked out of the hands of Jordan Tate. In on the coverage, it was Mackay Newton able to get a hand on it, and it'll bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, and a strong pass rush there. Number 54, Aaron Murdoch, right in the quarterback's face. So you like to see that early, kind of rattle the Fullerton quarterback a little bit if you can.
So we'll go 3rd down and 11 here. Ball on the Fullerton 44-yard line. They stay in that same formation with 3 wide out to the far side, 1 back in the backfield. They'll fake the handoff. Pass is short, caught across midfield. Ball is out on the ground, recovered by COC. And it's Cougar football, I want to say. And it is indeed Cougar football at their own 46-yard line.
And a tremendous turn of events here for the Cougars, no doubt looking to get off the field. I think Fullerton's going to argue that the ball carrier was down, but a whole bunch of Cougars there to pounce on that one. And either way, you're getting off the field on 3rd down.
There's Jeremy Gonzalez on the reception. You can see it underneath there, Jesse. And I want to say the ball was out well before that. I think a hand on it.
Yeah, I think that was 24, Kane Omahundro.
I think you're
out
right.
Of Bishop, California. And let me tell you, that young man had a tremendous game last week. So excited to see what he brings to the table here in week 2. A kid with a lot of energy out there, makes a lot of big plays.
We'll see the Cougar offense for the first time today. Bryce Dixon starts out as quarterback for COC. The sophomore out of Quartz Hill High School in the shotgun with a back to his left. He'll send 1 man in motion as we go on 1st and 10 from the negative 46. He'll throw on 1st down. Good pass to the tight end, the big man, number 16, Noah Staples on the reception, just a yard short of a 1st down.
Noah Staples representing Piedmont, South Carolina. He's probably hope he's got some friends and family watching, but I love the play call as far as getting Dixon involved early, getting a couple short throws under his belt, builds that confidence. This is a young man that started last week and then gave way as the Cougars employed a quarterback rotation, but certainly a lot of skill there, and one of the returners from last year who did see some time out there for the Cougars.
We'll go on 2nd down. It's about a yard here for COC. Man in motion here for the Cougars is Dixon going to throw. Actually, he's going to tuck it, and he's wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. First man in on contact there was Ant Harris.
Yeah, you know, and that's a play that the Cougars did run with some success last year. Dixon able to get into the end zone on one of those, but you see the Fullerton front just kind of collapse. A lot of big boys there, so whatever hole he thought he saw closed up in a hurry.
So we'll go on third down. It's 3rd and 4. You had 2nd and 1. You lose 3 yards. Dixon, not a guy that's going to run a lot. Last week, 6 for 16 on the ground with a touchdown. Did have a fumble as there's an offside, a free play here for the Cougars. Dixon, though, behind the line of scrimmage is sacked, but it's not going to matter. As you can see off the end here, the defensive end for Fullerton well in the backfield early.
Yeah, not going to matter, but you got to bet he didn't want to take that hit. He just kind of braced for it. And like we said already, there's some big boys up front. Number 92, number 92, Ant Harris, and number 90, Eric Heel.
So first down for COC. They get it off the penalty, and now they're on the plus side of the field. Mark it at the 43-yard line of Fullerton here. Dixon has Malachi Brooks in the backfield next to him. Or Malik Brooks, thank you, sorry. Malik Brooks in the backfield next to him. I blame you for that from this week, Jesse. As we put a man in motion. Dixon to throw here on first down. Pass along the outside, caught. Picked up by London Rivera. His 2nd reception of the year.
That's going to be Lyndon Rivera actually coming up there with that big catch. And again, Dixon finding his rhythm early. And also want to point out we are looking forward to Malik Brooks. Had a big game last week. Was the primary ball carrier for the Cougars. And this is a young man that I know coming into his sophomore season with a lot of confidence.
He stays the primary ball carrier here on 2nd down, and we'll call it 4. Ball spotted at the 37-yard line. Dixon stays in the shotgun. He'll send a man in motion. It's Bowen moving across the formation. They wanted to pitch. Instead, Dixon just going to have to tuck it and take a loss of a yard. He got back to the 39-yard line, so actually -2. Dixon not having a good day on the ground so far.
Yeah, you know, looked like a brief opening there with kind of the option pitch, but I think the better call to just tuck it and take the hit, live to play another down here. And now the Cougars going to be faced with another 3rd down. Penalty bailed them out last time. Let's see what they got doing here.
So we'll call it 3rd and 6. The Cougars so far negative on the ground in rushing yards. And really, they haven't had really a good chance for anybody outside Dixon to go. 3rd and 6, ball on the Fullerton 39-yard line. Dixon looking to throw, dumps it off underneath to Brooks. He ducks around one man, gets clipped, but I think he has enough for the first down. The spot right at the marker. And I believe the Cougars are going to move the chains here.
You get another way just to get the ball into the hands of Malik Brooks. You saw the last play call. They're kind of looking for him on the option. I think this is one of those young men, if you can get him out in space, keep the defense guessing how and where you're going to use him, you're going to see some success there for the Cougars.
So we'll go 1st and 10 from the 33-yard line of Fullerton. Cougars taking their time getting up to the line of scrimmage.
You know, and I like the pace here. You're controlling the tempo. It's still hot. You want to conserve that energy and play mistake-free football right here on this important first drive.
Dixon to throw all the way, looking to his right, almost intercepted, and it is picked off. It was tipped back the other way, goes Fullerton, and this might go all the way back to the end zone inside the 10. Dixon not going to get him. It's a pick 6 for Fullerton. The Hornets take it all the way back. It's Jamari Griffin with the interception off the tip, and it is 6-0 Hornets.
And right when I said mistake-free football, that came and occurred. But that's one of those unfortunate breaks. Kudos to the Fullerton defensive back for seeing that ball through. But you can see here the tip. Chance to make a play on that in the tip, and then there's just green grass in front of him. So
Branson Tita Noir was the one that got the hand on it to create the tip, Jesse.
And Dixon, a nice job trying to run him down, but it just wasn't enough there.
So a turnover, a pick 6, and Fullerton looks like they're going to go for 2 here. Try and make it 8-0. They'll send a man in motion with Nunez, and a timeout going to be called. And actually, it's going to be a false start. It's a penalty off the far side as a laundry down on the field. So now I think Fullerton going to send out the kick unit.
Yeah, I think early on you line up and see if the Cougars are ready for that. If they're not, you go ahead and try for the 2-point conversion. In a game like this, historically, these have been close contests. That point could become pivotal, and that only stacks on the momentum from the pick six. So
Jonathan Faubert in to try the extra point. Kick is up. And it is no good. So it'll be a 6-0 lead for Fullerton off the pick six. The bad news for COC, you give up points off the defense or off the offensive side on an interception return for a touchdown. The good news, you get the football back. It's still early in the ball.
Yeah, like you said, that's the key here. It's still early. Nothing is, down the drain, so to speak. Cougars were doing a fantastic job dictating the pace of this game and making sure that they had the correct personnel, the correct play call, executed on a couple penalties. Again, for those of us that watch the Thursday night football, those are one of those unfortunate things that just happen. The offense can be clicking, the play executed, and a bad tip, and it goes the other way. So, same thing happened here tonight, but I think the Cougars will be ready to bounce back here.
You got a look from Emery on that one. Our director, Emery Johnson, not happy with that look.
Well, I'd be lying
if Can you tell which team he's a fan of?
I'd be lying if I said that wasn't a subtle remark intended for our
Raiders fan,
fantastic,
Chiefs fan,
director.
all sorts of problems up here in the booth. As we go here. So it'll be Fullerton to kick things off. And it'll be Faubert to kick it off. The Cougars will stand Damari Smith. And I want to say Don Ray Hall back at their own 5-yard line. Unfortunately, the Fargo man has his jersey tucked up a little bit. It'll be Smith to take it at the 10. He'll bring it up from there. Has a couple of blocks. Doesn't get much further than the 23-yard line before he's forced out of bounds. So the Cougars will start on the long field here, their second possession on the offensive side.
And interesting to see here what the Cougars want to do at the quarterback position. Last week there was a bit of a rotation where each quarterback started with 2 or 3 drives and kind of they progressed from there until eventually seeing who had the hot hand or the steady hand, as the case may be, depending on the situation. But it looks like it's going to be Dixon back out there again, and that's good to see because, like we've talked about, Matt, had executed on a couple of those throws, had picked up the first downs, just starting to get into things, and so it'll be nice for him to have a do-over of sorts here on the second drive.
Dixon, not a guy without experience. Last year for College of the Canyons, 55 for 99, 707 yards, as they'll hand off to Malik Brooks. He's got a hole up the far side, all the way out to the 9-yard line. We'll see if he gets a decent spot. If it's going to be about a yard short of the marker, it looks like. And it'll be second and maybe a half a yard here. So good run from Malik Brooks. Mm-hmm. And Brooks, a guy, high motor, Desert Pines High School, Las Vegas, Nevada. He played for the final 4 games last year for College of the Canyons. Only had 15 attempts, but last week 22 rushing attempts, 79 yards, 3.5 yards per attempt. So certainly a guy that can get going, and you'd like to see get going, especially in a game where it's hot like this. Kind of make the defense work a little bit. As they'll give to Brooks again, and he's got room this time up a hole, and he's got all the way across the 39-yard line. That's actually where they're going to spot him. I thought maybe they would give him the 40 because he was tripped up, but it's a first down for COC, and the Cougars continue to move the ball.
Yeah, you talk about a Malik Brooks. This is a kid that actually, obviously put in the hard work through the spring and summer, worked himself into a position to earn those carries and be a stalwart here for this Cougar offense. So love to see it. Love to see someone really embrace that work ethic here at College of the Canyons football, and the results speak for themselves.
Brooks will get a break here as the Cougars bring in another back. I want to say it's Travis Royal. Might be, actually, it's Donovan Dunn back there in the backfield now. As Dunn will get the handoff, he runs right into his own man, wrapped up by big number 41 for Fullerton, C.J. Nesmith, and he gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it.
So, again, you give Brooks a couple totes, and then you come right back with another one of your stable of running backs. And really just, I think, trying to, again, slow things down, let the offensive line kind of dictate what they want to do. Easier said than done, obviously, with the talented Fullerton Hornet front. But getting these running backs involved is only going to spark the rest of your offense.
When you look at the line this year, too, it's big bodies, but it's very young offensive line. Only 3 returners from a year ago. It's mostly freshmen. It's light in terms of bodies, only 9 bodies on the offensive line this year. Usually you're much deeper. Trying to give Dixon enough time, and that one's intercepted. Picked off once again. Jamari Griffin on that far side for the second time today. Jumps a route and another interception.
took the words right out of my mouth. Just simply jumped that route, obviously looking for that. And you see almost the exact same position on the field, and they just close. And that's a tremendous job getting the extension out. But Cougars had a man down the field. And again, another big break in this game. Fullerton now, you never want to give them position on your side of the field. And Dixon and company are going to have to go back and sort things out here.
Well, that's something the Cougars did well last year. Had an interception last week, already 2 here today. But turning the ball over is such a huge key, especially for COC against these good programs, as Nunez with a good run inside the Cougar 30, all the way down to the 29-yard line, and right up the middle, nobody there to stop him. And Fullerton moves the chains for the first time today.
Not to dwell on the interception, but Coach that'll be the first thing he tell you. You can't beat a team like this making mistakes.
Nunez again, this time to throw over the middle. Pass is caught inside the 10-yard line and knocked down. As
that was going to be 88. Cameron Woods just got the big body there over the middle and then used that big body to kind of power through some of the would-be tacklers. Hornets in position here.
Hornets inside the red zone. Nunez going to try and push the pile. He gets to the 5-yard line, and that's it. Just a quick quarterback keeper trying to keep the play moving quickly here is Fullerton.
Yeah, taking the opposite page of the Cougars, kind of just getting up to the line, tighten up the splits, and go. Cougars definitely on their heels here, not wanting to give up a second score this early in the first quarter, and I think Fullerton senses that.
Carlos Mesa had to come off the field. His helmet got knocked off for COC. Nunez now will work in the shotgun. 3 receivers out there for him. Looks into the flat. Pass caught. Dropped. On the ground. Ball is loose. Kept in play by a Cougar. Recovered at the 19-yard line.
There was no whistle, but
they're talking about it here.
To me, that looked like an incomplete pass.
Yeah, the pass was intended for Vakapuna. And then there's a Cougar down on the field at the 5-yard line. So Eric Butrago and the medical staff going to run out and talk.
Yeah,
and there's our ruling for the field. I was going to say, I didn't think Vakapuna got a secondary step in. Really didn't make a football move.
That being said, you appreciate the officials letting the play out, knowing that they can gather and make the correct call as needed.
And Dan Corbett out on the field. Corbett's way out there hollering at the official about something. I think it's about how Fullerton's out on the field huddling on a timeout. I think that's something that's a new rule to the SCFA and the 3C2. I think that's kind of something they're not supposed to be able to do. Yeah, that's the only reason I can think Dan Corbett out there yelling, hollering, pointing at the other sideline.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Definitely one to make his voice heard when he's coaching his players. Typically not one to go out that far.
No, I don't think I've ever seen him pass the numbers. Coach I, different story, seen him pass the numbers. So 8:13 to go here in the first quarter. Fullerton trying to make it a 2-score game after the interception, the second of the first quarter, as Nunez in the shotgun once again. This time will keep. Has a hole. He's going to get in the end zone. Nunez in for a touchdown, a perfectly run option play. Just able to slide the defense off to the left a little bit, cuts back the other way, and makes the touchdown run.
Yeah, and just kind of, everyone bid on the play fake, and he just went in unscathed there. So Fullerton definitely has seized the momentum in this game. Similar to last week, College of the Canyons found themselves playing from behind early when the Owls were able to convert on their first offensive play. And you don't want to see, you don't want to go down that road again here a second time, but the Cougars now have no choice but to try and regroup and rally here with still a tremendous amount of time to play in this quarter and this ball game.
Fullerton misses on another extra point.
And circle those two plays, Matt, because
huge.
The Cougars get their offense back here in sync, and that could be a difference here down the stretch.
Because it was Charles Viorel on the kick that missed it. So another kicker that was added to the roster, I think, between last week and this week, because he didn't play at all last week. It was pretty much Faubert and Mamana that did the kicking duties. So it's 12-0 now in favor of Fullerton.
And an opportunity here for the Cougars to maybe lean on their special teams unit, get a boost here, some sort of spark to try and get back into this ball game.
So once again, we'll have Donray Hall and Damari Smith back to receive for College of the Canyons. And now you'll be interested to see who COC brings out at quarterback after 2 interceptions. This one going to go in the end zone. It's going to be a touchback, so the Cougars will take over. Ball on their 25-yard line to start their third possession. And I would expect, since we expected a rotation at the quarterback position, you see Emery Floyd come in at some point. I would expect this to be his drive, as he seems to be the man in the middle of the pile leading the way. Floyd out of Wharton High School in Tampa, Florida, went to Antelope Valley College last year, transferred after playing 6 games for the Marauders in 2021. Only threw 15 passes last year for 152 yards, but as a guy that can be pretty shifty, we saw a little bit last week at times, would spark the offense, only threw for 35 yards.
I'd say that's the biggest impact he had last week, was just coming in, giving the Cougars a new look, a new weapon to use, and got them on the board with 2 scoring drives.
Here's Brooks, tries the left side, picks up, we'll call it 2.5, maybe 3. I think they'll spot him at the 33. So we'll give him 3, or excuse me, not 33, 28. Bad math by me, backwards.
But again, now you pair an Emery Floyd, who obviously flashed some skills running the ball, was able to get in the end zone. You come back with Malik Brooks out of the backfield, and maybe that's the approach the Cougars go with here, at least until they get themselves back into things here.
So we'll 2nd down and 7. Ball spotted at the 28. 2 backs in the backfield this time off with Floyd. Just a 5-man line of scrimmage for COC as Floyd will keep it. Good mesh point that time, able to get up to the 35-yard line. That'll be enough for a first down, and you can see the defense bite on the fake.
Mm-hmm. And again, I think 3 times with Brooks, they've kind of swung it out to the near side here, and then you just turn around and you use Floyd, that little misdirection, let him get up and go. That's a nice play call there to move the chains and get things reestablished.
Taden Smith, one of the men in on contact for Fullerton that time, the sophomore out of Westminster High School. As we'll go 1st and 10, ball at the 35 of COC. The Cougars taking their time, and this is another different look that we've seen from COC. Last couple of years, we've seen them try and really run an up-tempo offense, taking all the play clock right now as the play clock inside of 5. As Floyd calls for the ball, he'll give to Brooks. Brooks off 1 tackle, still driving his feet, got up to the 44, and they'll call it the 44.5-yard line. So give him 4.5. It'll be 2nd down and 5.5 for Brooks.
Yeah,
and the
4.5, but I think the last 2+ were just an effort, just by virtue of him keeping his feet going and helping to move that pile. Those little extra yards are going to bode big here, especially as the Cougars, like you said, taking their time, seemingly content to claw it out here inch by inch, yard by yard.
And this is, again, another thing we've not seen from COC in years past is the willingness to just use the bodies up front, run the football. We always want to try and see that flashy play, and you want to see that on tape. But I like the ability to kind of do things like this. And here's Floyd. He's going to go, and he's going to get right up to the marker, be about a yard short of it, so it'll bring 3rd and 1. But again, not afraid to run, not afraid to take contact.
Yeah, that works. You see the personal protector kind of slide out with him, and then Floyd just using his better judgment. Had a man, but figured, hey, you know what? I can slip this guy. That's enough for the near a first down. Puts you up in a very manageable 3rd and short. And that's a nice job, again, protecting the football. You don't want to get too cute there. I'm sure Coach I and his staff are preaching protection here at this point. Can't give up another turnover.
2 backs once again for COC. 2 wide out to the far side. Floyd will give. Brooks slips 1 man, slips a 2nd, runs into his own man, but gets across midfield. And you got to like the blocking from Lyndon Rivera there, and just unfortunately Brooks runs into the back of him.
Yeah, I think Brooks got a little excited here, saw a hole, saw the block. You see the ball swinging out there. Tried to split his blocker and the defender. Next time maybe just bounce that around. But again, you like the athleticism there and the determination to get upfield no matter the cost, no matter the route.
And I like the blocking on the outside from Rivera as well, something that, a lot of top teams in the NFL, top teams in college football preach from their receivers. You don't see a lot in the JUCO game.
A skill that definitely goes unsung but is vital to your offense.
Floyd to throw here. This one caught by Rivera. Slips a man at the 45, still on his feet, inside the 30. Gets around a couple of bodies, gets knocked down, but they'll say he stepped out of bounds at right about the 28-yard line of Fullerton. But a good catch and run for College of the Canyons as Rivera makes a play.
And again, we talked about just fighting for that extra inch, fighting for that extra step, and that's what it turns into. You slip a tackle, you get up the sideline. I mean, he was off and running, like you said, for just that misstep there out of bounds. But again, another chunk play for the Cougars, and this offense starting to come together here just as it did last week with Emory Floyd under center.
So we'll go here on 1st and 10. Ball spotted at the 28-yard line of Fullerton. Lone man in the backfield is Joshua Clark right now. They'll send one man in motion in Cameron Bowen. Floyd will pitch. Good block on the outside. Trying to fight for an extra couple that time was Clark. And he's able to pick up maybe 4 as they'll spot it right about the 25-yard line.
And again, just that idea of getting your athletes in space, getting them the ball, making sure everybody's getting touches, see what works best for you. That's a nice play call there, getting Joshua Clark involved.
3-bunch set on the far side. Actually, 3 stacked out on the far side. Cougars just exclusively with that 5-man offensive line. Really no tight end in the ball game through this drive. Floyd to throw. Looking. Slips one defender. Still has room. Makes another man miss. Gets to the 20-yard line, but there is laundry on the field at the 25 in the area of a COC hold, so this run likely coming back.
Yeah, I think you're right, Matt. But again, a nice job just looking downfield, surveying what's available, and then obviously confident in his ability. I think just right here on the outside kind of hooks him. Hooks number 96, doesn't let him get free.
Samuel Asefa was the man called for the hold. So a tough penalty on COC. It's going to back them all the way up to the 35-yard line of Fullerton. So you go 2nd down and long, trying to get inside the 20 to the 18 for a 1st down and trying to find your first points of the ball game here with 3:13 to go in the 1st. And actually, I think they gave it to Linus Lindbergh, maybe. I think they gave the hold to.
You know, Matt, starting to get to the point of the field here where you might want to take a shot, maybe try and get a penalty down the field. College of Canyons has yet to take a strike down.
They'll give to Brooks. He gets hit in the backfield, still on his feet trying to fight. Got back to the line of scrimmage, and it looked like Jeremiah McNeely was the man on first contact right there to stop him, so it'll be 3rd down and 17 for COC. This is another spot last year where you talk about COC. Even in these spots, you had a leg in the kicking position that you knew you could put some points on the board. And it's kind of a question mark going into this year with Tony Johnson and Asa Johnson, both freshman kickers. Not really sure in terms of how much leg the two of them have.
Yeah, didn't really have that opportunity last week. You know, got the extra points, but, you know, I think, too, the Cougars didn't punt last week. So the special teams could be a question mark here.
Floyd to throw here, 3rd and 17, looking towards the end zone. Has enough under it, pass, incomplete. No flag given, as it looked like Jacoby Taylor was looking for a flag. Taden Smith was in on the coverage.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Jacoby Taylor kind of just streaking downfield, had a step there, and Floyd looks for him. We'll see what the contact was. He may have an argument there. The arm did come in. It's up to the official, though, timing-wise, to make that judgment call. But I think that's exactly what the Cougars were trying to do. You take that strike downfield. If you get the guy, which was open, you get it. If not, maybe you try a penalty, prolong the drive. Wasn't working there.
So we'll let Tony Johnson punt this one away with 1:56 to go in the first quarter. Johnson will kick an end-over-end punt that's going to be caught right at the 7-yard line. And a good punt that time to get it inside the 10. Damari Smith right there to down it for COC, and Fullerton will take over inside their own 10. So you like that from Tony Johnson. A nice little punt inside the 20. And now you ask the defense, who got a nice long break, to go back out and get the ball back for you.
Yeah, Matt, it's building blocks. A seemingly small play like that on special teams, you pin them back a little bit. Maybe your defense comes up, makes a big stop on first or second down, you're in business. So, again, Cougars, nice drive there. Started to dictate the pace, just need to now work on prolonging that and obviously getting into the end zone, but saw some bright spots there on that last sequence.
So Fullerton will come out. 21 personnel with 2 backs. They'll send one out of the backfield. They'll hand off on first down. Not much room to run for Garnett Davis III as he picks up a couple of yards.
And I think that was going to be Del Monte Barnes in on the stop. A lot of yellow are out there.
And a change at quarterback for Fullerton here is Garnett Larson actually in there, the sophomore out of Davis High School in Kaysville, Utah. The transfer from Utah State getting his first look at quarterback here today. So he'll take the direct snap. Keeps the ball, actually dropped it. It's out on the ground. Waiting on a signal, and it's pointed for COC. A recovery for the Cougars. Picked up by Will Mafu. As it was knocked out on the handoff, you could see Larson trying to give it to Davis and just dropped it.
Yeah, I think kind of just was out there too long. You're going to see him come across. The blocking is there, just maybe holds on to it. It kind of runs into him. And number 6 right there to pounce on the ball. That is a big-time play for the Cougars, especially on this point of the field. And if you're defensive coordinator Dan Corbett, that's exactly what you asked your boys to go out there and do. Give me the ball back. Let's put our team back in position.
Second fumble on Fullerton. The Cougars have turned the ball over through the air twice, so the turnover game adding up, and we're just in the first quarter with a minute 10 to go here. So now the Cougars with their best field position of the ball game. Emery Floyd first and goal within the 5-yard line as he'll come back out in the quarterback position.
And a lot of play calling options right here. This is the Cougars' sweet spot.
As Floyd will keep. Has a couple of blocks. Looking for the end zone. In for a touchdown. Emery Floyd for COC gets the Cougars on the board.
Nearly deja vu from week 1. Emery Floyd able to come in and get there. Just followed number 73, Linus Lindbergh, right down into the end zone. You're going to see here. But again, the Cougars a tremendous job just getting around his block and into the end zone. And again, a big body out there, able to come in and just power when need to, sidestep when he has to. That's a nice job getting the Cougars back in this ball game.
Asa Johnson in for the extra point. Hudson Chasko and Linus Lindbergh were the men in on the blocks to give the hole to Emery Floyd. The kick is good. The Cougars are within 1 score, 12-7 in favor of Fullerton. 1:03 to go in the first quarter. And you take another look at it, and really just good job from Floyd. Sees his blocks, bounces around a man, and really Lindbergh and Chasko working on that left side.
You see that again. That's a tremendous pull and seal. And then again, Floyd just, you see that young man out there. He walks with an aura of confidence. And, aware of his skill set and the ability. He knows what he can do out there. And to see it come together with execution is really a great thing for the Cougars.
I want to see him sling it a little bit, too, after that throw on that third down play. But certainly can run the ball, uses his legs very well. And that's something he did when he got the opportunity for Antelope Valley. He didn't get a lot of playing time for the Marauders last year, but can run the football, does a pretty good job at that, and you can see it right there, that shiftiness, that ability to kind of move. At Wharton High School, he threw for 872 yards during his high school career, but he rushed for 336, and he only played really 1 year at the high school level, really his senior year.
And I think a little bit deceiving as far as his skill set. 6'3", a bigger guy out there.
Tough return here. Kadari Kern slipped inside the 5, and the Cougar defense able to knock him down at the 15-yard line. So tough field position here for Fullerton as we can get back to Emery Floyd here in a little bit. We'll probably see him again at some point in the next few minutes.
I have a feeling we'll be talking about him again here real soon. But, Matt, this defense, again, a tremendous job here. Have another opportunity. Fullerton a little bit backed up. And, the new quarterback came in 2 plays and put one on the turf, so that's got to be looming in the back of his mind. Cougar's going to be flying around trying to get another one.
And Fullerton going to go right back to Brandon Nunez here instead. So Larson got a chance, didn't do much with it. Nunez will take over. He'll sit 2 wide to each side with a back in the backfield next to him, sends one man in motion. He'll throw to the motion man. in Christian Stewart, who gets across the 20 to the 25-yard line. They'll spot him right at the marker, so it'll be a first down.
Yeah, Cougars kind of looked like they had that sniffed out. Alejandro out there on the wing just kind of was trying to get an arm out there, just got blocked, and it was enough doing for the Hornets to get some positive yardage there.
So we'll go second down, or first down, excuse me, first and 10 from the 25 as the Hornets move the chains. Nunez again, this time will give right up the middle that time for Garnett Davis III. He's able to churn his feet for 5 yards, gets to the 30-yard line. And with 22 seconds to go, we'll see if Fullerton gets another playoff before the end of the first quarter. So 10 to go here in the first quarter. They will get one more playoff. Nunez going to tuck it this time. Gets hit by a bunch of bodies. 52 for COC. Ryan Lucero the first in on contact. I think Matis Ortiz Jr. might have been there as well. And that'll bring us to the end of the first quarter. So 12-7 in favor of Fullerton. A back and forward first quarter. A lot of turnovers. We'll toss to a timeout. Second quarter action, we come back.
I can't get enough of watching Jersey Mike's freshly grilled hot subs right in front of me. In fact, I like watching nice and close. Oh, yeah.
The eyes just moved.
It's just the steam from the grill. You're seeing things.
Look at that sizzle.
Did you hear that?
Relax, it's just the grill.
Yeah, it's just the grill.
Woo! Grilled right in front of you. It's a Jersey Mike's thing. A sub above.
Welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network, Cougar Stadium, SoCal College Sports, and SCB TV. COC and Fullerton locked up in a battle here, 12-7 in favor of the Hornets as we go into the second quarter with Fullerton with the football.
An action-packed first quarter, Matt, and I think if that's any indication of how this game is going to go, the fans at home and here in Cougar Stadium are going to be in for a good one, much as it always is with these two teams.
It was a battle last year, as we said. It was a tight game, 29-24. As Fullerton will go back to work. Nunez to throw here on 3rd and 3. Over the middle, pass is caught as he had him and he threw a strike. As it was right to Jordan Tate. And plenty for a first down all the way up to the Fullerton 49-yard line. That was a really good throw from Nunez.
I was going to say, nice route, nice throw. You know, for the Cougars, I liked the fact that 3 guys swarmed to the ball, still ripping and clawing, trying to get that out.
Nunez to throw, this time over the middle, nearly intercepted, then in and out of the hands of the receiver, as it was Cameron Woods the intended target, I believe, and he had his hands on it, and you can see it goes right over the top of the linebackers here. Big number 55 for COC, and Carlos Mesa nearly got a hand on it.
And again, similar play last week. Carlos Mesa swooped that ball out of the air and came up with a key second-half turnover for the Cougars. So, you know, right place, right time, almost pulled it out again.
Mesa really more of an outside linebacker, not really the linebacker in coverage, but really showing that ability to get to the middle of the field. Does this pass on the outside? Tackle not made at first, and then falling down after gaining a few more yards was Jeremy Gonzalez, and he's a yard shy of the first down, we'll say. It'll be 3rd down and 1 here for Fullerton.
One of the things the Cougars talked about coming out of week 1 was finishing tackles, wrapping up, making sure that that ball carries to the ground. So, again, one of those things that you know Coach Corbett and his staff are stressing each and every play.
Vakapuna the back this time for Fullerton as Nunez, the quarterback, standing looking at the sideline, trying to get a play. Plenty of time for Fullerton, though, 15 on the play clock as they'll get the play they want and get up to the line of scrimmage. Vakapuna directly behind Nunez. Now he'll shift off to his right. Nunez to throw, dumps it off Vakapuna. He's behind the line but able to fight ahead and might have got to the line of scrimmage. In on the first contact was Alameo.
Yeah, Alameo right there to meet the ball carrier, the receiver, and just like you said, like we saw from the Cougars before, scratch and claw and fight for that extra yardage, and it served the Hornets well there.
So Fullerton able to move the chains once again. Their 5th first down here the first half, as they'll go 1st and 10 from the 41-yard line of COC. Vakapuna on the handoff this time, wrapped up, got kind of tackled around the head, as first contact that time was JoJo Massey.
JoJo Massey out of Detroit, Michigan, and had a tremendous job right there. This is a young man who is eager to make his mark. Talked to him earlier in the week, and I know ready to get out there, fly around, and make some plays.
Had 17 tackles last year for the Cougars, had one last week against Citrus. Picks up one here as he keeps it to just a yard gain for Vakapunas. We'll go on 2nd down. They'll throw over the middle. Pass is caught by Woods. Tries to slip one tackle. Got bumped and knocked down. First contact that time for COC by Omohundro.
And you're going to see right here the middle of the field seems to be open for the Hornets receiving corps. And again, they just keep trying to exploit it. Cougars doing a nice job bouncing back, recovering to make the stop. But a short 3rd and 1, and they're able to convert here.
Nunez able to convert it. As in on the tackle was Clipperly that time, as they had Vakapuna running across.
And Fullerton doing a good job picking up those short yardage downs, extending the drive.
So ball spotted at the 32-yard line now. 1st and 10 for Fullerton. 12:25 to go here in the first half. The Hornets leading 12-7. As Nunez going to shift the pocket to the right and throw. Caught. Picked up by Jeremy Gonzalez. Knocked out of play by Omohundro. But it's a 9-yard gain.
You know, Cougars flying around. They're making tackles, making stops, but they're just unfortunately downfield right now. Fullerton doing an excellent job converting here on the short field.
And the Hornets go quick once again, and it's Nunez once again on the keep, and he's able to get inside the 15-yard line all the way down to the 13. So Fullerton using their pace right now to really play tricks on the COC defense.
And I think kind of exploiting it based on, you know, you slow it down a little bit, and then you get the big play and you speed it up. You know, kind of keeping the Cougars guessing what that pace is going to be. And the results have been positive, so why change things up here? The Canyons, again, looking for a big stop here and need another turnover would be tremendous.
Man in motion here for Fullerton. Davis, the 3rd in the backfield as the running back. Nunez to throw, kind of slings a sidearm that was tipped, nearly intercepted, but falls to the turf harmlessly as Johnny Smith got a hand on it.
Ooh, and he wanted that when you see him jumping up and down. I got excited all the way up here in the booth. That's exactly the type of play call, the big play that Canyons needs right now.
So 2nd down and 10. Seen more of that sidearm slingshot throw in recent years. Nunez trying it, of course. As Emory Johnson will tell you, our director, that is all his quarterback there in Kansas City, and Pat Mahomes. Is a nice little run for Fullerton. They're going to be a couple of yards short. Will bring up 3rd and about 3. Inside the 10-yard line down to about the 6 or the 5 or the 7. Trying to see where the spot is. As they'll give once again. Davis not going to have much room as Mafu there. First contact was actually, I think Jackson Volk might have got a hand on him.
Yeah, there's contact in the backfield, and he just kind of bounced out, trying to get upfield again. A big 4th down. You hear those bells.
Fullerton going to go for it. They need a yard. Nunez going to push the pile, and he's going to just get it, I think.
I think that second effort, he kind of stood up and stopped there, kept the legs moving, got behind those big boys up front. But Matt, back to your point, you know, you talk about the Steph Curry effect in basketball. 100% the exact same thing in football. You got the Patrick Mahomes effect where seemingly everybody thinks that they have a sidearm angle or a flip or a behind the pass. You know, if you can execute it, you look like a hero, and it's tremendous. If you can't, it looks like a mistake, and, hey, what are you doing out there? So live and die by it, I guess. But Patrick Mahomes was a young man, too, experimenting with his skills at one point. So
as we go, Nunez in the backfield, Davis with him. Nunez will keep. He can't get to the goal line as the Cougars able to keep him just shy. First contact was Mafu once again, as Will Mafu's been everywhere so far. Mafu last week, 6 tackles in the ball game. the sophomore out of Clearwater Central Catholic High School in Florida. Making an impact once again here, just trying to keep the ball short of the goal line. As Fullerton, second and goal from the 2. Nunez under center this time. Will give to Davis the third, and he's going to be able to push the pile into the end zone for a Fullerton touchdown. Garnett Davis the third, his first touchdown of the season on the ground. He's able to push it through, and Fullerton going to take an 18-7 lead.
Yeah, and Canyons did a nice job kind of holding strong there for a little bit, able to prolong things, but the Hornets just too big up front, too determined, able to eventually pound that in there. And again, College of the Canyons in this ball game have shown flashes on both sides, but unfortunately it's the Hornets who have come out on the with the upper hand here.
Faubert knocks it through that time, so Fullerton gets their first extra point of the ball game, make it 19-7, a 12-point lead once again. So we're really right back to where we were just a few moments ago before the COC touchdown near the end of the first quarter. So a 19-7 Fullerton lead, 9:50 to go. Look at some of the numbers so far. Fullerton 10 first downs on 28 total plays. The Cougars 7 on 21 total plays, so not that far off. The Cougars third down efficiency 2 of 4. Fullerton 4 of 6, and they're 1 of 1 on fourth down so far today. So 133 yards for Fullerton, just 92 for College of the Canyons. Most of the yards for Fullerton have come through the air as they've thrown for 85 so far today. And it's really just been short chunks on the ground for the Hornets.
Well, and like we talked about, after those first couple sequences of the Cougars, it's really been a back and forth, exchanging blows and scores and swings in this game. If you're College of the Canyons, you hope that one early mistake doesn't prove to be the difference as these two teams kind of settle down and get into a prize fight here.
The ball will be taken at the 6-yard line by College of the Canyons on the kickoff. Spinning is Demari Smith. He got across the 20 but didn't get much more. As maybe to the 22. You were fired up, thought he was going to break one.
Well, he broke that old, video game players of a certain generation will remember he broke the old NFL blitz spin around, and I thought I saw an opening, so I jumped up excited. But again, nice job of the Fullerton special teams unit to recognize that. But again, another one of those athletes, I feel like if he continues to get in the ball in his hands, it's just a matter of time before he breaks one. Had a huge run last week to help set up the Cougars in the second half. And again, I think just looking for his opportunity here again tonight.
So we'll see Emery Floyd once again here to start things off in the drive for COC. Donovan Dunn will stand in the backfield. The freshman running back out of Hart High School just down the road, another local product for COC, will stand to his left. Cougars will give to Dunn. Dunn knocked down behind the line of scrimmage, tripped up. As it was Jordan Little on the tackle. And I think it's a loss of half a yard, maybe a full yard. So we'll say it's a full yard. We'll call it second down and 11 here.
And now Emery Floyd here with an opportunity to kind of have the full field drive here to kind of see how things go. We've seen what he can do with his legs. We've seen what Malik Brooks has been able to do out of the backfield. I think it's time for the Cougars to maybe try and take some shots.
As Floyd will tuck it this time. Slips one tackle, but not the second. That's a tackle on the ground by Tita Noir, who was just laying there and just was able to wrap up Floyd's foot.
And there's going to be a flag, I think, coming from downfield.
Ted Iacenda has his hands out.
Yep. Saw something he didn't like. There's been a little bit of jaw in there on the outside. Such was the case last week as well. Yeah, I think just kind of unnecessarily going up at the face.
It's actually going to be a foul on Fullerton. They're going to call it on Juwan Grant.
Well, yeah, you see him there at the bottom. They kind of get tangled, and then the Fullerton defender just extends it a little bit. Maybe got a little bit of a face mask because you see the head turn right here. Yep. And then pulls his face mask, and absolutely Ted Iacenda spotted that and wanted to bring it to the officials' attention. Really no place for that. I know there's some jawing and jabbing going on down there, but, the play is dead. And so the Cougars will look to take advantage of that.
They'll move up to the 39-yard line, so some more breathing room here. Floyd will throw in the flat. Pass is caught. Picked up by Travis Royal, who's able to get across the 44 to the 45-yard line before he was knocked out of bounds. First reception of the day for Royal, who had 2 for 41 last week out of St. Joseph's High School in Santa Maria, California. The freshman gets another opportunity here today. call it the 45-yard line, give them a gain of 6. The Cougars need to get 4. They want to get to the 49 for a first down. It's once again taking their time. Dunn stays as the lone back. Cougars in 11 personnel right now as they'll work to go on the offensive attack here. As they'll fake the handoff pass, nearly intercepted once again. And that time it was Taden Smith who got a hand on it.
I mean, the Fullerton defensive backs, give them credit. Either they are extremely fast and instinctive, able to jump those routes, or they have studied their film. Probably a combination of both, because they are seemingly ready each and every time the Cougars look downfield. Right there on the ball, and if they aren't trying to jump the route, they're right there to make the tackle. So Canyon's going to have to watch out for that. You see the play calling trying to keep them on their toes, never knowing what Floyd's going to do, run, pass. Last two there, he dropped back to pass, and Fullerton's been on both of them.
Canyon stays in that same 11 personnel formation here, as this time Dunn in the backfield. They'll fake the handoff. Floyd needs to get loose of a couple of bodies and then got wrapped up by his own offensive lineman as Palau kind of ran into him and I think was just trying to keep him on his feet, if anything.
Keep him on his feet or maybe pull him forward and avoid the sack, the negative yardage there. But, yeah, I mean, that play was kind of ill-fated from the beginning. Just got blown up in the backfield, and there wasn't a lot of room for Floyd to scurry around and try and make something out of nothing. So, Cougars will have to punt here. Plenty of time to go in this quarter, but not what you wanted, especially when you're already being buoyed by the penalty to kind of move you ahead. Like to try and take advantage of that.
So it'll be Tony Johnson here to kick for COC once again. Already a punt inside the 10. This time it's a little bit longer of a kick this time. I think it's Jeremy Gonzalez standing back at about his own 15-yard line. It's not a very good punt. It takes a Fullerton bounce and comes back outside the 30-yard line, down at about the 32.
Got a little bit of backspin there on that one. So Fullerton will look to get back into business here as College of the Canyons continues to fight and claw this defensive unit, wanting to keep the Cougars in this ball game. Another turnover here would be beautiful, but you can't rely on that. Eventually the offense is going to have to step up and meet them halfway.
Yeah, and it's been a tough struggle on the offensive side at times for COC. Like we said, 95 yards coming into that last drive, most of those coming on the ground. You'd look 52 or 51 yards on the ground. The pick six really has hurt you so far. That's the one big glaring mark on the offensive side. As now they ask the defense to go back and get another turnover. Nunez throws over the middle and drops down in and out of the hands of the intended target in Austin Levas.
Yeah, that's one of those balls, Timothy Jackson, right there in the area. Kind of the same thing what happened to Fullerton. You get a tip and you just want to try and swoop that ball out of the air. That would have been big for the Cougars. But again, like the positioning, like the fact that they are there to make a play on the ball.
Johnny Smith was also in there on the coverage for COC. As Nunez will hand off, Vakapuna bounces outside, still fights his way forward. On a play that looked like he only had 5, he gets 7 on the play.
Yeah, he's a tough runner. I mean, stays low to the ground, listed at 5'8", but the way his style of running looks much more compact to the ground like that and just able to get up and get those hard yards.
There's a man down for COC on the field on the near side. Jacob Clipperly is down, the defensive back out of Golden Valley High School, who had a big game last week. Clipperly 9 tackles, and certainly a guy you want to see out on the field, can make an impact on that defensive side. Did have 1 tackle for a loss, had a pass breakup as well. So not something you want to see on the ground if you're COC, as he is certainly one of the more experienced guys on the defensive side of the football this year.
And good to see him bounce up, just a little shaken there. But yeah, I believe led the Cougars last week in tackles. And again, for a defensive unit that, had its issues in the first half, but was able to buckle down and hold the Owls to 3 points down the stretch. And again, that's one of those things you love to see, is for your defensive leaders to step up and make plays when it's most needed. And so we'll see if the trainers tend to him here.
It's 3rd and 3 here for Fullerton now. So the Cougars trying to get off the field once again. 6:59 to go here in the first half. 19-7 in favor of the Hornets. Nunez in the backfield takes the direct snap, looking downfield, incomplete, short on the throw, trying to target that time in Jordan Tate, and good coverage on the outside by College of the Canyons. It looked like it was Johnny Smith once again in on the coverage.
And that's exactly what you need to do. Limit that drive, step up, play College of the Canyons Cougar defense, and put the ball back in your in your offense's hands. And let's see, too, again, we talked about the special team spark. Might get a return here. This would be a tremendous start here for the Cougars with less than 7 to go in the half.
Canyons looked like they were going to press here. Instead, they back off a couple of guys. So Royal will stand back at his own 25-yard line, calls for the fair catch at about the 29. We'll see if that's where they give him the spot, and it indeed is. So the Cougars will take over from there. And now we'll see if they decide to go back to Emery Floyd. They decide to go to Bryce Dixon once again. It's kind of a guessing game from drive to drive for COC.
Yeah, I think Coach Iron Company, evaluating each and every snap, might be a situation where it's not a general rotation, a two and done. It might be a point where it comes to, okay, who's got the hot hand, who's in a better position to lead us on this sequence, depending on what your offensive mindset is at this point of the game, this point of the field. You saw a situation last week where Dixon hadn't been in the game, came down to the last drive of the fourth quarter, and he was back in there. So, again, College of the Canyons with a lot of options out there and sticking with Floyd for at least one more round.
Malik Brooks the back this time in the backfield. He wasn't on the last drive, maybe getting a little bit of an extended rest with the heat as Floyd hit in the backfield, sacked, unabated to the quarterback that time, Carlos Torres, and Floyd lucky he didn't get blown up even worse.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things that you just have nightmares about, a big 90 number with his hand down coming right at you. And I believe Carlos Torres listed at 6'4", 245, so that's no fun. But a nice job of Floyd hanging in there, didn't really scurry or get flustered. Big enough body to take that hit, bounce back up, and see what happens the next round.
Second sack of the season for Torres. So now the Cougars backed up 2nd and 17 from their own 23-yard line. Floyd will give this time to Brooks, who's got the edge, but then good pursuit coming back to knock him down. And then more flags on the field as once again Cameron Bowen was tied up with Taden Smith, it looked like this time.
Yeah,
and actually, no, it was Kanari Kearns once again. I think this is going to go against Bowen.
I started to say, I think this time they're getting Bowen, and you see Coach I with his hands on his hips, kind of staring down what happened here, and probably questioning the need for that. Again, especially you're trying to make up ground here. You cannot afford those types of penalties.
So it's a dead ball foul, too, to make it even worse. So you lose 15 yards from the spot of the foul, or from the spot of the ball after the play, and you lose the down as well. So ball now all the way back to the 12-yard line of COC. 3rd, and we'll call it forever. You need to get to the 40 to get a first down.
And one of those things, a lot of emotion out there, a lot of things happening, but you just can't set your team back like that.
It's Floyd to throw here on 3rd and well long. Deep downfield, looking for a man. Incomplete, but a flag on the play as it was Rivera that was open, and just a late tug by, I want to say it was Bryant Meredith. Oh, no, excuse me. It was Jamari Griffin who had the 2 interceptions early.
Yeah, I think Rivera just had a step on him. He knew he was beat. And at that point, what's worse, you take the penalty or you get beat for a touchdown. So, obviously a talented defensive back did the best he could there to, hold back the Cougar scoring opportunity. But that was a clear call for the official.
Unfortunately, in college, it's not a spot foul. It's only a 15-yard penalty, so you stay 3rd down, and you're 3rd down at about 13 here for COC, but a little more manageable on a 3rd down
and you get
than
the
was
15
last.
back, and you come back, and like you said, a workable. Your playbook is much bigger for 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 than it is for something else like that.
5 wide for COC here. And the Cougars going to have to call a timeout as they were running out of time on the play clock. Don't want to take another penalty here. So, well, we have a timeout. We'll take a timeout. 19-7 in favor of the Hornets. 5:23 to go here in the first half. COC and Fullerton.
Our sports medicine program here at College of the Canyons is meant to introduce students who are interested in some type of career in sports medicine. Most of my students are interested in careers as an athletic trainer, physical therapist, or orthopedic surgeon. So when they're done with our program, they will have their Associates of Science. Do you love sports? And do you take satisfaction from seeing someone go from injury all the way back to the sport that they love? Then this is a program you should definitely consider.
Meet Nigel Terry. In 2018, UCLA Health made him Laker for a day. Not because he beat cancer once, he beat cancer twice. He inspired us to push, to make the impossible possible. Because that's what Nigels do. And the world needs more Nigels. UCLA Health.
Welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network, SoCal College Sports at SCV TV. As we go 3rd down and 13 for College of the Canyons.
Matt, I started to say before the break, I think that's the best ball we've seen from Emory Floyd yet. And so,
I'd say the one in the first quarter was pretty good, too. He's thrown a couple of good ones downfield.
But I think exhibiting that arm strength is going to do its part to keep the Hornet defensive backs honest there. He's showing he can run. He can show he can sling it now.
And that's something we're kind of missing so far this year from COC, that we're so used to seeing the quarterback throw the footballs. This one downfield, pass caught right at the 45-yard line and knocked out of bounds. Jacoby Taylor with a nice catch, and it's enough for a first down.
And we're going to see it coming in right to our cameraman here. But Jacoby Taylor, just a tremendous job. Knew he was going to take the hit, wrap that up, and the Cougars are in business here. First down, 5 minutes to play.
It's a good throw from Floyd, and again, we talked about throwing downfield, something we don't really – it's kind of a question mark coming into this year. Last few years, the Cougars have wanted to sling the ball around. This year, they've kind of shown through a game and a half they want to run it. Now they're going to go 5 wide with Floyd here. As Floyd takes the snap, throws over the middle, pass is caught. Brooks has room to run, gets across the 40 down at the 35-yard line. So you see Malik Brooks, the versatility, known as a running back, that time swung out as a receiver, right on the mark from Floyd, and it's a first down.
Yeah, and I think, again, nice job by Malik Brooks, obviously getting open. But how about that throw? 3 defenders in the area, and Emory Floyd just finds the window. And the Cougars are off and running. I think that's 3 straight dropbacks for Floyd and starting to get into sync here. The rest of his teammates, College of the Canyons, would love to have this score here to close out the second half. But that is a tremendous job here. And again, another nice job for the offensive line, keeping them safe up front.
Another 5 wide set. Floyd to throw, looking downfield, trying to find Rivera again, and a flag late thrown in the area. So another pass interference call, and again coming at this time Brandon Meredith, and then there's another flag somewhere else. I believe it's in the backfield. And they're saying it's a late hit is what Emory's telling us.
I was looking downfield, obviously kind of same position, same sequence, but you see in the backfield, just kind of got to Floyd, and that was extravagantly late. If you see him take the 2 steps here. So, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, it was Chris Harm that I think came in and made the late hit.
And so his team will pay the price for that. And College of the Canyons will take every extra boost that it can. Like the toughness of Emory Floyd there. We talked about it. He's a big body out there. He's a solid kid.
Yeah, 6'3", 200.
Yeah, shades of Cam Newton when he takes off running.
Said that this week.
And slides through there. I'm really liking what I'm seeing. Now he's just got to step up and finish this drive.
So we'll put it on the 21-yard line. 1st and 10 for COC. Just on the edge of the red zone right now as Floyd able to knock down the snap, makes the pass on the outside to Brooks. Or actually, no, excuse me, it was Joshua Clark this time. And Clark gets down inside the 15. Call it the 14-yard line, so a gain of...
Another great shot. Look at him going down. Puts the hand in the ground and is fighting for those extra inches. That's going to be the difference in this type of game, Matt.
So are we calling it the gold zone since we're wearing yellow today? If you've been watching Hard Knocks, or are we staying with the red zone?
I'm a traditionalist, so I will stay with red zone. But I do like the thought, and I will say I do like those gold jerseys here under the lights at College of the Canyons Cougar Stadium.
As we go here on 2nd down and 2, ball spotted at the 14, a timeout called. Timeout by Fullerton as they want to talk about it here. So liking what you're seeing so far from Emily Floyd, throwing the football effectively, and that's something that we were kind of not sure we were going to see after last week. The Cougars really did not throw the ball a lot last week. When you look at the numbers for the Cougars, 139 yards through the air, 125 on the ground. 139 yards through the air is not a number that we're used to seeing through the air.
No, and I think the biggest thing is, again, it's probably by virtue of the situation. Floyd comes in with the team behind, kind of the Cougars on their heels, and he's able to come in there and create some positivity, give them a spark. So I think that's the biggest factor here for, this team and the success that they've had under Floyd. Now, like I said, it's imperative that he finishes this drive. You can't, I feel like if you're College of the Canyons, you can't get off the field here without some points, especially heading into this halftime locker room. But things are clicking right now. The offensive play calling is there. The guys up front are doing their thing. Malik Brooks, how many times are we going to say his name tonight? Love to see him getting utilized. And so, again, it's just time to settle down here and punch this one in.
So we'll go here for COC. 2nd down and 2 on the 14 as we reset. It'll be Floyd in the backfield. They'll send a man in motion. He'll throw here, looking to his right the whole way. Has a man in the end zone, caught. And we're waiting on the signal. It's a touchdown for COC. Lyndon Revere in the end zone on a strike from Emery Floyd.
And again, the protection is there, and Floyd just finds him. That's a nice pitch and catch. College of the Canyons obviously taking advantage of the Fullerton timeout, able to get their play call set. So like we talked about, more importantly, you can have the perfect play call, you can have the spot on the field that you want, but if you don't execute, it's all meaningless, and that's a nice job of finishing the drive, finishing the task at hand, and keeping yourselves in this ball game. Momentum starting to shift a little bit here.
It's the extra point up and through as Asa Johnson stays perfect so far on the year, and the Cougars now back within 6. No, sorry, back within 5, 19-14 the score. As you look at the numbers for Emery Floyd now has become very efficient on the passing game. 6 of 10, 84 yards and a touchdown. The Cougars now really between him and Malik Brooks kind of using those two to their advantage. Brooks 37 yards on 7 carries, averaging 5.5 almost.
A little bit of a two-headed monster on that last sequence. And again, College of the Canyons, look how big that those 2 missed extra points loom in this game. And really the one difference is the pick 6 early on. So we talked about that. If you can overcome those mistakes, buckle back down, get back into your game plan. We have so much football left here to play. We know this is going to be a back-and-forth match. Who's going to come out on top? Who's going to be able to take that last swing?
6 different receivers with receptions so far today for COC, as well as Revere, Brooks, Taylor, Staples, Clark, and Royal, all with catches. As Tony Johnson will kick it away. As we sit in a 5-point game, closing in on the end of the first. That ball goes into the end zone, and going to bring it out from there is Fullerton. Across the 20, hit and knocked down at the 25-yard line. Believe was...
That's going to be Mr. Varner coming in and just kind of closing that hole on the special teams unit. That's a nice job breaking down on the open field out of Frisco, Texas. And again, another one of those guys making their mark wherever they can here.
It's Jacob Bergwell on the return for Fullerton as they'll send Brandon Nunez back out. Nunez last year in 11 games for Fullerton. He played 11 games. He threw for 973 yards. They really haven't, I would say, utilized him in the passing game as much as you would have thought coming into today. As he'll throw this time and has a receiver open in Jeremy Gonzalez, and it's a good for an 8-yard gain.
Now we'll see what Fullerton, you know that they've got their 2-3-minute offense ready to go. And so, again, another, chess game out on the field. Where are you on the field? How much time do you have? What are you going to employ? Not a hurry-up style yet, seemingly content to make sure that the play call is there.
So Nunez will fake the handoff throws. That ball deflected but caught as it ran right into the stomach of C.J. Broy, and he's able to come down with it and get enough for a first down as it's a 3-yard gain.
And that just barely got there off the deflection. One of those ones where I thought might come up a little bit short. But the Hornets able to haul it in here.
So we'll go 1st and 10 ball at the 37. 2:22 to go here in the first half. Nunez, 3-step drop. Now he'll step up and run as he's flushed out of the pocket. Gets around one man, and a nice run from Nunez all the way up to the 50-yard line. Right at the midfield stripe, knocked down. It's a gain of 14. And a first down once again for Fullerton.
Fullerton really exploiting that middle of the field. You see their big chunk plays. Most of their first down plays have come over the middle.
That's an underrated part of Nunez's game, is his ability to run. This time drops back and throws it to Broy, who makes the catch, picks up about 4. Nunez last week, 12 carries, 59 yards, had 3 touchdowns. Did have a fumble that was unfortunately turned into a turnover for the opposition in Santa Barbara, but a guy definitely can show his legs at times as he's showing off his arm here on 2nd and 5. He'll give this time. Davis right up the middle. Going to be short of the first down by 2, so we'll bring up 3rd down and 2 for Fullerton on the Cougars side of midfield, spot at the COC 42-yard line.
And that was a big run. You just got back behind number 78, Sammy Garcia, who cleared a lane for him, and that'll work every time for the Hornets.
Nunez to throw here on 3rd and 2. Pass incomplete. It was intended that time for Fox Haugen, who didn't, maybe just a busted route it looked like, Jesse?
Yeah, definitely no one in the area there, so you got to wonder what happened. And now another 4th down there at the point where you could gamble and go for it, but I think
early in the ball game they're going to just try and pin the Cougars back.
And especially with a minute to go and try and get out of this, holding that lead that you worked so hard to build.
So Mamana will
Coach I down there running around. He's excited to get the ball one more time.
Mamana will kick for Fullerton here. Cougars have Travis Royal standing back at the 10-yard line, and he immediately calls for a fair catch. Ball's going to bounce at the 5, and it's a good punt from Mamana. Fullerton almost botched it, though, trying to down it inside the 2 as nobody was ready for it. But they were able to do the job as it hit a couple of feet right at the 1-yard line, and that's where the Cougars will take over.
So
see right there, you see they were kind of all standing around on the replay.
So you got about a minute to go, about 99 yards.
That's a full 99. I think the spot is exactly on the 1-yard line. It's hard to tell with the old soccer goal on the, I think it's 99.5, I want to say. Maybe the nose of the football right on the 1-yard line.
And again, you want to try and get points. You want to try and move the ball up. But I think more importantly here for College of the Canyons, at this point of the field, you cannot make a mistake here.
Absolutely.
You cannot put the ball on the turf. You cannot throw it up in the air. I mean, almost better to, again, you're striving for those yards. You're striving for every inch. But almost better to just kind of ensure that you don't give the Hornets another opportunity, because the way that this game has shifted in the second quarter, College of the Canyons looks to be in better sync.
Cougars going to take a timeout here, and they took a long time getting out onto the field. I feel like that was kind of by design from Ted Iacinda. Said, no, we really want to talk this one over. And he was even trying to wave the boys back. No, just go back. We're taking a timeout. Go back.
And I think that's what they're stressing. You have your timeouts. You can't take them with you. Again, this point of the field, you have to make sure everyone's dialed in on the same page.
So the Cougars just one timeout left. As we go here, First and 10, ball on the ball on the 1 yard line for COC. They come out in a jumbo package with Floyd under center and are just going to try and push the pile, and I don't think they did much. Got the line of scrimmage, and that was it. Whew.
Yeah, you know, trying to get yourself a few extra
I understand the play call, yeah.
Centimeters, whatever it may be at this point of the field. But, yeah, that's tough doing, and Fullerton knew that was coming, had their big boys stacked up front.
And remember, the Cougars will get the ball out of the halftime break, too. So, if anything, maybe you just run a couple of plays, don't turn the ball over, and just go talk about it.
And I think that's, you know, again, so many things can happen here at this point of the field. I think that you're content with how things have progressed here, leading into the second half. Why push the envelope? Why make a mistake
Coach
here?
I got to call a timeout with 2 seconds to go on the play clock here as he walked all the way down to the official down on the near sideline right at the goal line and said, I want a timeout with 1 second left. So 8 to go. That's the end of the timeouts for COC here in the first half. And so they'll talk about it one more time, run one more play and get into the locker room. And really, when you talk about it, Jesse, the way the game started with the pick 6 and Fullerton then coming back out after another interception, scoring a touchdown. You're talking about 12 points off turnovers. The result at the end of halftime, you take it in 19-14, not happy, but not upset necessarily.
Exactly. You're right in this game. You've seen your team improve. You've taken their shot. You've made a mistake and lived through it. So, again, this is going to be a tremendous second half, talented on both sides of the ball. Two coaches that you know want to win this game for what it means the rest of the season going forward.
And that'll do it for the first half. So 19-14 the score in favor of Fullerton. That was a loud whistle right at the end there. Oh, and Fullerton going to make the Cougars run one more play with 3 seconds left here. And they can actually – this is actually interesting, maybe a little bit too much time left.
Folks, want to make sure you stick around at halftime.
Forgot to tease it through the first half. But
Got
we have
a tremendous feature for you from TSN in Canada.
You're just excited that TSN from Canada came
highlighting one of our most talented and athletic alumni here at College of the Canyons, Mr. Tim White, national champion in the triple jump.
Might make the Olympics in 2024.
An accomplished all-state football player here at College of the Canyons, a superstar at nearby Hart High School. And coming up at halftime, we're going to have a look at just some of his exploits and his story. Currently playing with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And we want to thank Tracy Britnell and her crew at TSN for producing the package and sharing it with us here tonight on the Cougar Sports Network.
Still at least one more play to run. It's actually 6 seconds put on the clock here. So now, if you're COC, I think you got to run something a little bit heavier than just this front formation, as Fullerton does have one more time out.
And an intriguing game of chess here between the two coaches.
As Floyd that time, and a flag, and that might actually help COC. I think that's an offside flag.
We'll see what
so flag off the far
here.
sidelines. Yep. So that actually helps COC. So we'll replay third down with 3 seconds to go.
And perhaps the longest 20 seconds in California Community College football just transpired. But we are happy to have it here.
I was waiting for you to say it, not me. That makes me laugh. Thank you very much.
But like I said, I'm excited for everyone to see about the legendary Tim White.
And that's right. Former College of the Canyons athletic standout Tim White could have easily been forgiven for not finding his success in his life. He grew up in a large, tight-knit family, so that was on his side, but his housing situation was not. Despite his struggles, he has become an incredibly accomplished two-sport athlete playing at the CFL and working towards a spot on the 2024 United States Olympic track and field team. Here's a behind-the-scenes look at Tim from TSN in Canada in their series, Chasing Dreams.
When I was 9, 10, 11, this was my stadium right here. They didn't have hardly any money. They didn't have a home sometimes.
We were always trying to find interactive, fun ways to get through what we were going through.
There was a period in time where pretty much every single night, this was our home. You know, this is kind of where we had to sleep. We would just find a little spot right here, and we would just pack up into a car, all of us.
We didn't know until we were older that, like, oh, not everybody lives out of the car. Not everybody doesn't have food to eat every night.
This kid's the best athlete on your team, and he's not eating. How much better could he be if he was eating?
Tim White was born in Santa Clarita, California. The second youngest of 9, his athletic prowess shone early.
Sometimes we would go to the park, and all of his siblings, we'd do like regular park stuff, like go down the slide, go on the swings, and then we'll look around and we'll see Timothy like doing a double backflip off the monkey bars.
The park, however, was not just a place to play. Often, it was home.
In the mornings, I would come in here and wash up, brush my teeth and everything like that, just make sure I could take care of my hygiene as best as possible.
And then Tim would walk to school. Depending on where they stayed that night, the journey could be as long as 25 kilometers.
I remember my siblings and I, we would do like intervals, like workouts to get to school. So sometimes we're like, let's run this block. Okay, we'll run a whole block and then we walk another block.
By the time Tim started high school, his family's situation had improved. But things were far from perfect.
There was times where I've seen Tim pushing a shopping cart down the street before with cans and stuff like that.
These were a vital tool for us growing up because we would have to collect cans and do things like that in order to like build up enough money to be able to eat at night.
Though money was scarce, having a roof over his head helped lead to new pursuits. While attending Hart High School, Tim joined both the track and field and football teams.
This is where it all started right here. I remember like it was yesterday, my first time being able to step out on the football field. I finally felt like I was getting my opportunity to be able to play organized sports.
He's a freakish athlete. He's like just a kid who could literally do anything athletically.
We haven't seen too many athletes like him come through the Hart program in my 40 years. He might be the best athlete that we've ever had playing Hart football.
Tim was blessed with natural ability, but 2 things held him back. The first, poor nutrition.
He was in roll call lines for our off-season weight training program. All I saw was this little skinny guy and didn't think much of him at the time.
I'm like, dude, what'd you eat today? He's like, nothing. And it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon by then. And I told him, I go, what if I started helping you out, like bringing you food or something like that?
There were some times where I was hungry, and his wife and him would put out meals for me in the morning just so I can eat, have the energy to go to class, and come out here on the football field.
If that lunch was still sitting there, I knew Tim wasn't at school on time or whatever the case was, so we were always able to kind of keep track of him. So I think it helped him become accountable and be more responsible.
With food taken care of, academics was the next issue to address.
I started off on junior varsity. This game week, I thought I was gonna show up and play, and my coach comes up to me, he's like, you're ineligible. I'm like, ineligible? What are you talking about? If your grades are not to this standard, then that means you cannot play for the team.
He didn't have a computer. He didn't have the tools needed to be successful in the classroom. That was his environment that he was living in. Homework takes a back burner to trying to survive.
Determined to play, Tim reprioritized and soon got the marks required to put him on the field.
We were playing our crosstown rivals one time, and we were down by less than a touchdown with just seconds left to play. And I just made up some play to try to get to Tim.
Kept alive! White's gonna break free! White's gonna score!
Tim made one of the greatest one-arm behind-the-back catches in school history.
Tim was also excelling in track and field.
The greatest story was him becoming a triple jumper because it didn't happen until late in the track season. He just decided to do it just to goof around.
And then goes out and wins it at a track meet, and then goes all the way to the state finals for it.
Tim's accomplishments attracted D1 college attention, but his marks meant he would have to take the junior college route. College of the Canyons in his hometown of Santa Clarita was happy to have him.
Right on, right on. He has our school records in all three, long, triple, and high jump. Also was All-American in long jump and triple jump, a state champion in triple jump.
His impact was felt on the gridiron as well. The D1 attention came back, and he chose the Arizona State Sun Devils.
We were extremely proud of Tim. It's that journey, that realization of a dream that you thought possibly might not happen, but you didn't give up on it.
Tim's name was not called during the 2017 NFL Draft, but the Baltimore Ravens signed him shortly after.
And now Woodruff to the end zone. It's Tim White.
I just had a great experience there. Got to be around some great guys. I feel like I played extremely well there, you know, and definitely left no regret.
Tim spent time with the Jets and Saints as well, but was released in 2020. As he contemplated his future, the Tokyo Olympics were on the horizon.
I had a month to prepare for the Olympic trials, and we did maybe 3 or 4 track meets, and I just tried to put my best foot forward and go out there and compete.
To put in perspective, Olympians train their entire lives to just barely miss out on making the Olympics. If he had dedicated his whole life to being an Olympian triple jumper, there's no doubt in my mind he would break the world record.
Tim finished 5th at the Olympic trials, missing the team by a mere 2 spots.
You do wonder, yes, what if? Coulda, shoulda, woulda, but didn't. How good he could be if he just specialized. But he wouldn't have had the experiences that he's having now and what he is having with his professional career.
The current experience in the CFL is clearly going well.
Looking towards the end zone to White, and he's got it!
Tim is one of the league's top receivers, but he has not forgotten where he came from and who helped him to get here.
I definitely feel like people were just put in specific times. They were put there for a reason, and they were able to help me go to the next level and just continue to chase my dreams and continue to chase what I wanted to do.
We knew he could do it. He's Tim White. We know he could do anything.
Tim, even with the worst of circumstances, worked his butt off to get where he is now.
He had to take those opportunities when it came about and make the most of them, and he did that.
He's a tireless worker. I think his energy knows no bounds.
19-14 Fullerton as we get ready for second half action. COC and Fullerton College Horn. As the Cougars get the ball out of the second half, Jesse, and it's been a tight one. You take a look at a couple of touchdowns. The Emory Floyd strike late in that second quarter, and the Cougars right now, so we said trailing by 5. 154 total yards for COC, 173 total yards for Fullerton. Each team up over 10 first downs, 12 for the Hornets, 13 for the Cougars. It's been pretty tight back and forward. Each team with a couple of turnovers. Nobody really has the advantage at this point. The difference, the pick six. That's kind of it.
Yeah, exactly what we thought coming in. You know, two ranked teams, two respected, historically strong programs here in the SCFA, and, you know, two teams that are, you know, going to battle each and every week. And for College of the Canyons, coming off the loss, obviously needing to get back on the right track. And for Fullerton, you know, coming in as the number 5 and number 4 ranked team in the state, you know, no doubt expect to come in here and emerge with a victory.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been, like we said, tight. You look at some of the other numbers for each side. For Fullerton, Brandon Nunez, 11 of 18, 92 yards through the air, 9 carries, 47 yards on the ground. He's been kind of the motor running for Fullerton so far here today on the offensive side. On the other side, it's really been the Emory Floyd show. That whole second part of the first half really came alive. 6 of 10, 84 yards, a touchdown. Had 10 carries for 14 yards. Malik Brooks, 7 carries, up over 37 yards in the game. So those are kind of your key performers on the offensive side for both sides. For COC on the defensive side, Johnny Smith has 3 tackles. Aaron Murdoch with 1. Will Mafu with 3. Timothy Jackson with 3. So a bunch of dudes with 3 as we look way down the list. On the other side for Fullerton, I think it's kind of the same. Really the big number for Fullerton has been the 2 interceptions into the hands of Jamari Griffin.
Yeah, the pick 6, you know, obviously a momentum swinger here in this game. College of the Canyons, kudos to them for responding the way that they did to claw themselves back into this ball game. And, you know, if past indications are any source, College of the Canyons likely to stick with the hot hand here with Emory Floyd. That's not to write off Dixon. If there's a need or an opportunity to get him some snaps, I think they no doubt will. But for right now, I mean, College of the Canyons, I feel like won that second quarter. You continue to go with what's working for you down the stretch.
A pooch punt for Fullerton to start. The Cougars will take it right at the 25-yard line as it was fielded by College of the Canyons. I didn't see who actually picked it up. I think it was big number 56 for COC. And Yeshua Pineda, that was actually the man that made the return. So the Cougars will take it from their own 26-yard line. Then it was the football right on the 26. And we'll see who they send out to start here in the third quarter. On the offensive side is the quarterback for COC. That's really the question, as we've talked about probably ad nauseum here today. It looks like it is going to be Emory Floyd to lead things out for COC here in the third quarter. Cougars will start in 20 personnel with 2 backs in the backfield with him. Floyd will take the direct snap and keep it himself. Now he'll pitch back. Good read on the pitch, but not much room doing for COC. As an even better defensive read for Fullerton as the pitch was back to Joshua Clark. And I think it's going to be a loss of a yard. Actually, it's going to be spotted right back at the 26, so he gets to the line of scrimmage.
And again, College of the Canyons continuing to showcase the many weapons that they had. You know, we talked about Malik Brooks, 10 touches in the first half. Emory Floyd, you know, did his thing, obviously. But there are a lot of guys on this roster and on this offensive unit that haven't even scratched the tip of the iceberg yet.
This time it'll be Clark again on the run. Little dive down to the inside, and he picks up a good 7-yard, 8-yard chunk as it's Joshua Clark, the wide receiver, slotted in the backfield here in this 20 personnel look for COC.
And again, College of the Canyons coming out at their own pace. You know, no doubt want to play with some urgency, but don't necessarily need that up-tempo yet. It's more about going in and executing, taking care of the job at hand here.
Empty backfield here on 3rd and 3 from the 33-yard line, so a 5-wide set as they brought the big tight end for COC in and Noah Staples. He'll kind of be in a slot receiver position just on the inside to the left of the line. Brooks out on the near side. He'll go in motion. Stops behind the line of scrimmage. Now he'll stay in as a blocker. Floyd will throw, looking to the outside, nearly intercepted, knocked away. Good defensive play that time from Quentin Ashford that got his hands on it, and it'll bring up 4th down and 3.
And again, Matt, I've said it a couple times. I think the most impressive part of this Fullerton defense has been its secondary. You know, cornerback, safeties, everybody running around out there, seemingly always right there, ready to make contact whenever the Cougar receiver gets the ball. And so so far, that has been the difference. You talk about the 2 interceptions, obviously the pick 6. We don't want to keep harping on that. But this Fullerton secondary really leading the charge here tonight.
Yeah, kind of sprinting around everywhere. They made a lot of plays, a lot of tackles so far. So it's going to be Gonzalez back to receive here on the punt from Johnson. It's a spiraling punt, and it's a good punt. A fair catch called for inside the 15. And the spot going to be at the 13-yard line.
A dangerous reception there,
yeah.
Matt. He calls for the fair catch and then has to actually turn around and go over his shoulder. That gets away from him, and the Cougars are roaring, ready to go.
It's almost one of those ones as well as that's kind of the old rule as a special teams coach. If it's inside the 15, don't catch it. Just get out of the way, let it bounce, see what it does. Worst comes to worst, it goes into the end zone.
And I appreciate, you know, the ability to turn around, get in position to make that catch, but you don't always have to show off your skill set in those types of situations.
So we'll go here 1st and 10 for Nunez. Ball spotted at the 13 for Fullerton as they go to work in 11 personnel. Nunez will throw, looking downfield, trying over the top, has a man, pass is caught right at the 50-yard line and stumbling out of bounds. I believe it was Christian Stewart.
Yeah, I think that's going to be number 15.
No, excuse me, it's 15.
Leland Smith out of Houston, Texas. And you see, gets a little bit of an arm extension there right in front of the official. Obviously not enough to draw the flag, but did create some separation there and a nice pitch and catch for the Hornets.
Longest throw of the day for Nunez. Longest throw of the day for either side as Nunez is going to have to tuck it and run as he's flushed out of the pocket. Has a lot of room to go, and he's going to pick up 10 yards. Give him 11 as he gets across the 40 all the way down to the 37-yard line, and Fullerton moving the ball quickly here on their first drive of the second half.
And he maybe even could have gotten a little more. Looked like there was a little wider of an opening if he broke it off to the left. But again, a nice job of that offensive line to kind of shift things over that way, seal, and let their quarterback get outside.
1st and 10 ball at the COC 37, so Fullerton moving quickly. They'll hand off this time to Davis, hit in the backfield, then brought down on a second effort. Alimayo was the first one in there, or the second man in there. As first contact, I believe, might have been Murdoch, I think, flying through the middle. No, excuse me. Alejandro was the first one flying through the middle.
Yeah, 2 names we've called a couple times tonight for the Cougar defense. And again, kind of a transition from last week as well. Those were 2 of the leaders out there. I expect to see more of the same here.
2nd down and 10 ball at the 37. Davis stays as a lone back for Fullerton here as they'll shift the pocket to the right. Nunez throws underneath. No tackle made as slipping it was Gonzalez, and he gets inside the 25 all the way down to the COC 19-yard line. And Fullerton once again in the red zone here.
Timothy Jackson met him at the sideline, just kind of tried to overpower him instead of wrapping up and taking him down. And that is something Coach Corbett will no doubt preach next time he comes to the sideline.
So now Fullerton in the red zone. Nunez will keep, slips 3 tackles. He was wrapped up in the backfield, it looked like, as first in on contact was Murdoch, and they just couldn't bring him down.
Yeah, you know, Cougars made the recognition quick enough to not fully bite on that fake. But then you see just gets past a couple arm tackles.
And we've talked about a lot already Emery Floyd's size at 6 foot 200 pounds. Nunez, an even bigger body, 6'5", 225, and certainly has shown his ability to run and break some tackles. He's a tough tackle trying to bring him down. So he'll go here on 2nd down at about half the chains. He'll hand off to Davis, who has a huge hole, scampers towards the end zone, tripped up, and he's going to be a yard short. So all the way down to the 1-yard line, and Fullerton a fresh set of downs. 4 downs to get a yard here if they want it.
And Fullerton in business here, seemingly moving the ball at will.
Ali Mayo was a touchdown-saving tackle as now Nunez has Davis to his left. They go quick. Davis dives into the middle. He'll get into the end zone. That should be a Fullerton touchdown as it is. So the Hornets come out and are very efficient in their first drive of the third quarter, methodically drive the ball downfield. One big play, a couple of good runs. Davis finishes it off for his second touchdown of the night, and it's 25-14 in favor of the Hornets.
Yeah, that's a Fullerton offense that came out here in this second half with a game plan for their first series and did a tremendous job executing that. College of the Canyon's going to have to do better in response, but that was seemingly too easy, especially when they got down here in the red zone.
Faubert to try and pick up the extra point, which has been a point of contention for Fullerton so far today. They've missed 2, they've made 2, so we'll make it 26-14. Fullerton back out in front by 12, 10:48 to go here in the third quarter. Remember, folks, at the end of the game today, actually we haven't mentioned this yet today, COC brand new thing this year, Chick-fil-A helping sponsor College of the Canyons this season, sponsoring Cougar football, and they will provide a player of the game at the end of the game. He'll get a free meal from Chick-fil-A. We'll either have that player for you or we won't. We'll try and figure it out. It's kind of a tough sell for us, but either way, Chick-fil-A providing player of the game, a nice meal for one of the Cougar student athletes today who's deemed the player of the game. We'll try and have that for you post-game. We'll keep you updated, but nonetheless, we want to thank Chick-fil-A for that.
Very excited to bring on Chick-fil-A to our family of sponsors here at College of the Canyons and Cougar football. Tremendous community support from all of our partners, and like I said, Chick-fil-A known throughout the community for support of education and youth athletics, and again, happy to have them here. Chick-fil-A at the Valencia Town Center.
So the Cougars will stand back to receive. Smith and Hall standing back at their own 10-yard line. This one a deeper kick. Hall will take it at the 5 and bring it out from there. Gets met at the 20-yard line, still trying to drive ahead. He'll get to the 21, and that'll be it. So the Cougars will take over there.
Matt, another important drive here for the Cougar offense, not in terms of the time on the clock, but it's just the response needed to continue in this back and forth game. This is one of those ones you can't let yourself fall back 2, 3, 4 scores. College of the Canyons down by 12 here, itching to get back into this one. Much like they did in the second quarter, swing that momentum back in their favor, because Fullerton came out and, while it belonged to Canyons heading up the stairs to the locker room, I feel like Fullerton's come out and seized that since then.
So we'll see Emery Floyd to start things off here for COC. Cougars a little late to get a body onto the field, so they got a delay here. Plenty of time on the play clock, though, so they'll get themselves set and get themselves right. Floyd will throw to the outside. Pass is caught. Unable to get the corner, but getting a nice little chunk of yards that time for COC was Damon Barkus. Call it a 7-yard gain. It'll be second down and about 3.
And that's a play that's worked consistently for College of the Canyons. A little swing out, not quite the flat, but heading over to the sideline. Didn't have the sideline angled on at that time, but it's just coming right in. Eventually to be able to turn and get upfield, that's going to bode well for the Cougars.
So second down, we'll call it 3. Floyd in the backfield will give to Brooks, who tried to dive around a tackle and could not. Meeting him there first was, I heard 95, Jordan Crawford. So we'll go with that, and we'll call it third down and about 2. Brooks stays in the backfield here for COC. Cougars sitting 10 personnel right now. No tight ends out there. 4 wide receivers for College of the Canyons. Floyd will keep it. Brooks was hit in the backfield. No room for Floyd to go as he loses a half a yard. Tackle credited to Ant Harris.
Yeah, Brooks took a little bit of punishment on that block. Was there to make it, but I think took the brunt of that hit. And College of the Canyons forced to come off the field here, bring their punt team on. And 2 underwhelming drives here to begin the second half.
And it's almost as though they couldn't decide whether they wanted to try and throw or pass. There was a little bit of that, trying to run that mesh point offense and just did not work. Fullerton had it scouted very well, the defensive line with a good push.
And maybe that's the a problem by virtue of your own success. You've shown the ability to do both, and instead of being able to just pick on one and focus it, you're kind of torn with your playbook up there. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Complicating things further, like we talked about, the Fullerton secondary flying around out there. So even in situations when that would dictate the need to pass or the need to look downfield, it's been difficult for the Cougars.
Good punt that time from Tony Johnson. Pins Fullerton back inside their own 25 at their 24-yard line. No return. And so Fullerton will take over 1st and 10. As Nunez already leading a touchdown drive, we'll head back out with the Hornets leading by 12. So it'll be Nunez and Davis in the backfield for Fullerton. 3 wide for the Hornets as Nunez will hand to Davis, and he's able to pull the pile ahead. First contact that time from Mario Kiajczyk. And it's a gain of, we'll call it 2 yards, bring it 2nd down and 8. Kiajczyk, one of our players from outside the state of California, Wyoming Cemetery out of Kensington, PA. As again, Davis, not much room to run that time as he maybe gets a yard. Give Mafu the tackle once again, and we talk about Will Mafu a lot already today. He kind of just flies around, hits bodies. He's looking for the ball all the time.
Yeah, one of those guys, that other players feed off of just by virtue of his energy and his nose for the ball. A big 3rd down here for the Cougars.
Nunez to throw here on 3rd down, looking over the middle, pass caught. Right into the hands of Cameron Woods, and it's enough for a 1st down as he's up to the 44-yard line. Was drugged back, but they give him forward progress, and once again, Fullerton moving the chains.
Again, kind of their bread and butter offensively. When they need the big play, they've gone right over the middle with continued success there. So College of the Canyons has to be aware of that. Matter of making the adjustment.
Nunez will shift the pocket to his right this time. Looking downfield, slings it over the head of the intended target in Haugen. So it's incomplete. It'll bring 2nd down and 10. And you notice, if you can tell, Nunez left sleeve on his left arm. He's actually, there's a reason for that. Back in high school when he played for Mountain View High School, actually had a medical scare, had a blood clot in his left arm, actually kept him out of his senior season, was forced to miss the back half of that year. He was a pretty good high school player, 4,041 yards during his high school career. Now getting the chance to once again play for Fullerton. It's good to see him out there slinging the ball around as he'll hand off here. Or actually, he'll keep it, and he'll get blown up behind the line of scrimmage, and then a late flag on the Fullerton offensive line. Tackle was initially made by,
I think that's going to be Joseph Marsh.
Yeah, it was Marsh. You're exactly right, Jesse.
And Marsh just was not biting. Full chest to chest, bring him down, and then draws the penalty with a little extracurricular. Marsh, I think that's the first time we've called his name, but a talented young man out of Oaks Christian. Had 2 big impact plays last week. And again, another one of those guys kind of quietly goes about his business, puts his hand on the ground, and has a, thus far, a tremendous ability to get to the quarterback. Strip sack last week, and again, a big play there. You tack on that extra 15, and that is going to hurt this Hornets offense and hopefully give College of the Canyons a chance to get off the field here on a long 3rd down. What do you got for 3rd and 29, Matt?
I'm not a coach, so I don't know. As they try a little trickery there as a backhand, and Vakapuna is blown up behind the line of scrimmage, and it was, guess who, Marsh once again.
I'm telling you, that kid's an impact player, and no doubt pumped up after 2 back-to-back plays, gets his team off the field. And just like week 1, a little bit of a momentum swing. You start to get those building blocks here. This College of the Canyons defense now coming off the sideline, feeling good about themselves. And we'll see what that equates to the rest of the way.
Lamana to punt this one away. The Cougars with Royal standing back at the 35-yard line. Lamana's punt is a wobbly one. Fair catch called for by Royal, and it's taken at the 38-yard line. So the Cougars will take over with their best field position here of the second half. As spot, what do they call it, 30... It's pretty much split right between the 35 and the 40, so we'll see where they mark it down. But either way, it's 1st and 10 for COC. And now the question is, you go back to Bryce Dixon, you stay with Emory Floyd. That's kind of one of those things where it's just a drive-by-drive situation for COC. It looks like they're going to stay with Emory Floyd. And they're going to go this time with Donovan Dunn in the backfield.
Yeah, I think, with this advantageous spot here on the field, I think you got to give him at least one more go-round and see what he's got.
As Floyd this time on a designed run. Dunn out in front blocking. Floyd had his helmet knocked. Actually, it wasn't Floyd. It was Dunn who had his helmet knocked off.
Donovan Dunn, tremendous job out there. You're going to see it on the replay.
There is a flag, though, so we'll see if it's...
I think this is the defensive player ripping his helmet off here. I don't know. Either way, a hard-nosed kid out there finishing his block. Absolutely. You're going to see the hands to the face here come up on Dunn. And credit to him, he did not stop. He continued to move his feet and finish that block. That's a tough young man, and that's College of the Canyons Cougar football right there.
And it is indeed hands to the face on the defense. It was a 5-yard run for COC, a good little designed play that time with Dunn out in front blocking for Emory Floyd, and instead it's going to move the ball all the way up across midfield for College of the Canyons, mark it at the plus 48-yard line. It's 1st and 10 for COC.
And again, College of the Canyons needs to take advantage of this extra tack-on yardage here. Lining back up here, Emory Floyd. 4 wideouts.
As they'll stay this time with Brooks in the backfield. So Dunn does his job, has to come off because his hat got knocked off. 3 wide to the far side for Floyd. He'll keep. He's got to slip a couple of guys as Fullerton was in the backfield with him and did a good job to pick up 2 yards, as blowing up the play initially was Ryan Alamo.
And you see Floyd here again, not that elusive speed there, but just that ability to sidestep, get upfield, make something out of nothing. What do you get, 2 yards there?
2 yards.
Again, as opposed to taking a sack, and the ability to, continue to do that when something's not open, just, hey, tuck your head and go, get positive yardage.
Well, by my eye, too, very poised. Kind of doesn't slip guys in the traditional sense that you're used to seeing, kind of just waits and lets guys overrun him and then takes off. As he'll go with 2 backs in the backfield this time, as they'll fake the handoff to Brooks, throwing downfield on a little wheel route. Pass is caught. Inside the 25-yard line is Joshua Clark, and a great design for COC as they move the chains and have another 1st down.
A nice job by Malik Brooks, just running his route to perfection. Kind of stalls right there, and then boom, hits that extra gear to get open.
It's actually Clark, I think, that made the catch.
Yeah, you're right.
Brooks
was
the
right, Matt.
decoy man on the wheel route.
So I bid on that, but there it was Clark. It was another big chunk there. And College of the Canyons nearing closer and closer to the red zone, looking to continue to take care of business here.
Ball spotted at the 21-yard line, 1st and 10. The Cougars need a score right now. You're trailing by 12. Floyd will keep, slips the first tackle, dives around a couple more, got back to the line of scrimmage, and then 6 Fullerton Hornet white jerseys take him down. Never like to see that when you got that many bodies running at the quarterback, but Floyd looks like he's all right. Had his hat knocked off. He's going to have to come off the field, though. So now you're going to see Bryce Dixon, no choice to throw him back in the game.
Quick to pop up. You like that. Unfortunate. Lost the helmet. But he'll get buckled back in here. And again, let's see what Dixon can do here. Ready to step up. We're seemingly on the sideline. Ready to jump in.
Dunn stays in the backfield next to him to his right. 3 receivers down on the near side. That's going to be an offside flag. The Fullerton defense was in the backfield before the ball was snapped. Yeah, and there's a flag down on the near side. I was going to say, there were 4 bodies in the backfield before the ball moved.
But again, Matt, going back to Dixon, he comes in off the sideline, hasn't played since the 1st quarter, and they have no hesitation to let him step back and sling one. So again, just speaking to the confidence that this coaching staff has in their roster and the ability for seemingly any man to step in at any time and contribute. That's a nice job for Dixon to stay ready.
So it's a 5-yard penalty for Fullerton here. It'll bring it all the way up to the 15-yard line. The Cougars need to get to either the 10 or the 11. I can't tell where the sticks are. I think it's the 11. So we call it 2nd down and 4. Floyd back in there here on 2nd down. has done to his left this time. And now a whistle, and the Cougars didn't get the playoff in time. So you get the 5 yards on the offsides, you then don't get the playoff in time, and you move it right back. So we're right back in the same situation we were.
And you can tell that's something kind of will peeve the coaching staff. You know, you look at Coach I down there, hands on his hips, just kind of, come on. But again, nothing too backbreaking, you hope.
So Floyd will take, has to throw, looking, pass incomplete, well over the intended target's head, and Jacoby Taylor was trying to hit him on the run. Taylor kind of a little stop and go route, a little hook to the outside, and just never was going to connect.
Yeah, I think just a little bit, got held up a little bit behind that ball. But again, 3rd and 8 here, College of the Canyons. Got to come off the field here with points, especially as we near the end of the 3rd, start of the 4th quarter.
So 3:50 to go here in the 3rd quarter. 26-14. 3rd down and 8 for COC. Ball spotted at the 20-yard line. Fullerton moving again up front, so it's another offsides flag. Floyd going to take a chance, looking for Taylor. Threw it behind him, but the Cougars will get another down at it here, and it'll be 3rd down and 4.
And they're just trading 5-yard penalties back and forth. College of the Canyons will certainly take this one as they continue their march.
Long drive taking lots of time off the clock here for COC.
Which makes it all the more imperative to get out of here with some points on this drive.
This is not as though the Cougars have not had the ball for the majority of the game. 19 minutes of, or 21 now minutes of game time. The Cougars have controlled the football. They just haven't put the points on the board to get away with it here. So we'll go 3rd and 3 now. Ball spotted at the 15. It's still 3rd and 4, actually, as it needs to get to the 11. 5 in the backfield. Floyd going to design quarterback keeper. He's going to get to the 15, maybe the 14, brought down by a bunch of bodies. Jordan Crawford was one of the men in there to hit him. And now it'll bring 4th down, and the Cougars will send out the field goal unit, just trying for points on the board here. As Asa Johnson will come out to kick.
You know, close enough, you got to figure they at least thought about what to do here, you know, with a 4th and short. But I think the right call to get points on this board here, continue to play your game. They can execute on this kick.
First field goal chance for Asa Johnson this year. And it's blocked by Fullerton. And Tony Johnson able to recover it all the way back at the Fullerton 36-yard line. But the Hornets get a huge block right up the middle. Kick looked like it was a bit low, too, off the foot of Johnson. Oh, and it was leaping the line. Big number 20, Branson Tita Nawal jumped the line and was able to make the block.
Yeah, that's just an athletic play.
I thought you weren't allowed to jump the line.
I think as long as you don't use anyone to boost. So if he had the athletic ability to straight flat-footed jump, as long as you're not using someone to propel yourself over, I think that's okay. But, I mean.
And that's why you're in that chair, and I'm in this chair, and you can correct me.
Still a tremendous job, a flat-footed jump to get up over that ball. And another one of those swings that the Hornets are going to try and take advantage of here. See how College of the Canyons responds.
As they bring out a new quarterback here, it's Nathan Cornley out at the QB position. He shifted the pocket. He threw it. A pass was complete out to the 41-yard line. Connected with Jonathan Gonzalez. And again, Cornley will stay in the backfield here. So interesting. I wonder what happened to Brandon Nunez. As he had been running the offense, Cornley, the 3rd-string quarterback, got a couple of downs last game, but not many. As he'll give to Vakapuna, who's met in the backfield, able to still work his way back to the line of scrimmage. That'll bring 3rd and 5 here for Fullerton.
You know, Matt, it might be for the Hornets just another one of those things, much like College of the Canyons, where you got a lot of guys that you want to see get some time, get some tape out on them. And if the Fullerton coaching staff feels they're in control, what better time to wheel out a guy here in the last couple of minutes of the 3rd quarter.
And I do see Nunez standing on the sideline with his helmet in his hand, so maybe you're exactly right, Jesse, is it's just an opportunity for Fullerton to see somebody else. Cornley, 5-step drop, dumps it off over the middle. Pass is complete on the man cutting back through, and Jordan Tate. He's got plenty of room to run across the 40, still on his feet, cuts it back to the inside, down to the 30-yard line for a big Fullerton gain and a 1st down.
Again, going right back to it over the middle and then able to bounce it out. And College of the Canyons, has a couple guys in the area. Got to do a better job tackling, especially when you got them hemmed up on the sideline there.
So Cornley doing a nice job here, taking over for Nunez. Takes the direct snap, hands it off to Davis III. Tried to cut it back to the middle. Was met in the backfield by Alameu and knocked down, loss of a yard. So it'll be second down and 11 here.
Alameo, again, doing a nice job flying around. We've called his name a bunch tonight. But College of the Canyons, now is the time. You got to make a play here. The clock continues to tick.
Yeah, definitely not on your side right now. With 1:08 to go here, Clipper Lee stays in the backfield with Davis. Hands it off. The ball's on the ground. Jumping on top of it were a couple of yellow jerseys waiting on the signal, and it's COC football. Third time today that Fullerton has put the ball on the ground. Coming out with it was
that's Carlos Mesa. Again, second time in as many weeks. Almost on cue right here in the third quarter. You look at this handoff. Getting a little cute here.
We saw Nunez do the same thing.
I saw him do it, and I thought the same thing then. It worked out. But, again, you put the ball on the carpet, this point of the field, this juncture of the game, and Mesa, a tremendous job getting the ball back for his side.
That ball was loose for a long time on the ground. A lot of bodies running at it.
Rolling around, and that's why it's so important to be in position and swoop it up. But, again, a big momentum swing here, and you see Coach Corbett down there applauding his guys and their efforts.
Two backs in the backfield for Floyd. They'll hand him Malik Brooks. He's got the edge this time, then got tripped up. Looked like he had plenty of room to run, and a big chunk saving tackle that time by, might have been Hassaneth.
We'll see here. Brooks just really moves well when he bounces it outside, and just got him around the bottom of the foot.
Branson Tita-Noir has been all over the field today. You talk about him, you talk about Jamari Griffin have been the guys for Fullerton so far on the defensive side. So now there's a timeout on the field. Oh, I see. Thank you, Emery.
Yeah, I think he kind of got rolled up on from behind. He was up downfield trying to make the block. We'll see if we can get a closer look at it, but just one of those unfortunate when you can't see what's coming at you, you're going to work doing your business. And you kind of see right there, it just gets rolled up on and immediately tries to get up. Good thing we know he's in good hands there on our sideline with our athletic training staff.
We'll go second down and 5. Pitch this time to Brooks. Cuts it back up the middle. Gets across the 35. Enough for a first down as they'll spot him right at the marker at the 38-yard line. So the Cougars move the chains. And that'll bring us pretty much to the end of the third quarter once the clock gets back in motion with 9 seconds left. I don't think the Cougars will get a playoff. They'll just take it into the fourth quarter.
That's, again, a nice strong run there to move the chains, set yourself up heading into the fourth quarter. You see the Cougar sideline. It's 4 up. This is the fourth quarter. This is what you run and train and lift all those weights and run all those sprints for. And a long way to come back. But this Cougar team certainly looks determined. Things trending upward for them.
It's been a good one so far today. 26-14, Fullerton in the lead. Fourth quarter when we come back here on the Cougar Sports Network, SoCal College Sports, and SCV TV. At College of the Canyons, we're always here to help make your future remarkable. Choosing classes is always flexible, so you can study your way. Learn at one of our 2 state-of-the-art campuses, or from home with our online options. Tuition is always affordable, with classes starting at just $46 per unit. We offer financial aid and 0 textbook cost classes to help you save. Always flexible, affordable, remarkable. Always College of the Canyons. Visit canyons.edu/schedule now. Go back into the fourth quarter here, 26-14, COC trailing Fullerton, trying to make a comeback. As we'll go on 1st and 10 from the 38, Floyd to throw. Slips the tackle, throws downfield, looking for a man. Revere trying to cut back, and they're going to just say incomplete, no flag thrown.
I'm at a loss for words, Matt.
I thought for sure there'd be a flag.
Coach Iacinda is livid.
Hats off.
And I can understand why. That was probably the clearest call. I mean, you look at 29 here.
John Grant
arms
just
extended,
kind of ran him over.
basically tackles him. And Coach Iacinda has a point here to make with these officials.
I've
not seen a call like that in my tenure. And
Coach I lost his headset, he lost his hat, he lost his.
That is unfortunate because the Cougars did a tremendous job executing that from the protection, giving Floyd enough time to wind up. The receiver ran his route and was open.
It'll be 2nd and 10, and it'll be a big hole for Malik Brooks, and he piles through a couple of guys across midfield to the 49. And so you don't get the pass interference, and Malik Brooks says, it's okay, guys. I'm going to put you on my back and run for a first down.
Yeah, the ball doesn't lie. You get the first down, but still, I mean, I just say it again. I have not seen that so clear of a call missed in that type of situation. But the Cougars have to turn the page and continue to compete here, respect the call, and move on.
So it goes 1st and 10. Ball spotted at the Fullerton 49-yard line. Floyd on a pitch to Brooks, has a block, tries to get the edge, got knocked down before he got to the 45-yard line. Mark him at the 46, a gain of about 3. 2nd down and 7. The Cougars, though, trying to move here, and you got to score. You got to put up 6 at the very least, I think, here on this drive.
And even more frustrating for the Cougars, they felt like they put up 6. They executed the play to get 6, and to find themselves still at midfield, Coach Iacinda pacing like a tiger in a cage down there. He is still
Cougar in a cage.
Cougar in a cage. That's even better, but he is still livid.
Floyd stays in the pocket, throws over the middle, pass incomplete, looking for Damari Smith was trying to hit him. And you know what? Floyd took a pop there, but you got to like it. Stays in the pocket, not afraid, firing the ball downfield.
And again, he's, in these last 2 windups, he's had the protection to really kind of show off what he can do with his arm strength there. Hasn't had the opportunity to go that deep that often, but certainly has the ability to do so.
So we'll go here on 3rd down and 7. Ball at the 46. Floyd with Dunn in the backfield next to him. They'll look at the sideline for a change of the play with 12 seconds on the play clock. Floyd up at the line, hollering out instructions to his offensive line. He'll take the direct snap, looking left the whole way. Pass incomplete. Looking for Rivera once again. He couldn't make the catch. And it'll bring up 4th down. And now if you're COC, you're in one of those spots where do we go for it or do we kick it? And it looks like no decision. They're going to send the punt unit out.
Again, just infuriating the way that sequence plays out. College of the Canyons, found the big play, dug deep and found it, executed it. And to not be able to bear the fruit from that and to turn the ball over, have to punt and come off the field is disappointing.
Johnson, who's already pinned him inside the 10 once today, this time will pin him inside the 20 as it skips out of bounds at the 16-yard line. No return.
Matt, that being said about the disappointment, watch if this Cougar defense doesn't come out here and rally right now. I mean, this is a blue-collar team that's going to come out and go back to work here and try and do everything they can to get their team back in the game. We already saw the turnover the turnover with Meza. We've seen Marsh come in and make a big play. We've seen a lot of guys out there put themselves into position.
Well, this team as a unit historically, especially under Coach Iacinda's tenure, when Coach gets fired up, they generally get fired up with him. Now the question is controlling that fired up because we've seen in the past taking some penalties at that point in time. As Nunez back out in quarterback here. So just a 1 drive off for Brandon Nunez. He's going to swing it out in the flat on a little wheel route. Pass caught by Davis the third, and he gets a nice little chunk. Actually, he gets enough for the first down. He gets 11 yards.
Yeah, kind of did a good job getting up to the sideline. A lot of Cougars kind of strung out trying to make their way to him, but had enough to slip through and move the chains. And now let's see, Fullerton's no doubt has to kind of slow things down here, kill some of this clock.
As Nunez will give it to Vakapuna. He's met in the backfield, slips a couple of tackles, ends up losing a yard, but did a great job just to get to that point, as there were 4 yellow jerseys that had a hand on him and couldn't bring him down.
And again, a nice job, College of the Canyons, kind of just staying lateral, stringing that out to the sideline, knowing that you had your contain, on both levels there to get to him.
2nd down and 10. Ball still spotted at the 24-yard line, so it's a loss of a yard. Call it 2nd down and 11. Nunez will keep this time. Gets wrapped up by, guess who, Will Mafu.
Where have I heard that name before? And again, tremendous job just tackling, not only making the tackle, but wrapping up. You know, we've seen Fullerton a couple times be able to break through some of those arm tackles, get the extra yards. But you bring up almost all of them are pivotal now, but another key 3rd down for College of the Canyons with a little over 12 minutes and ticking here.
Mafu with 4 tackles on the day. 3rd and 5 for Fullerton. They're going to go 5 wide here on 3rd and 5. Nunez taking his time. Takes the direct snap. 3-step drop. Now wants to step up. Slings it over the middle. Pass is caught. And it's Jeremy Gonzalez just in an empty space in the middle of the field, right at the midfield stripe, and it's a 1st down for Fullerton.
Again, back to that bread and butter. He had him spread out right to the right side, and he just comes right across the middle, settles there, and waits for the opening, waits for the receiver to get him, or excuse me, the quarterback to get him.
5 wide again. Now there's a flag as the play is not going to get off, and probably a good thing for Nunez as Colquitt was in the backfield chasing him down, and I believe there's going to be a false start flag on the far side of the field.
Yeah, Colquitt had a step, and he was coming.
He was wide open. And, you know, we talked about too. Sometimes Cougars have a tendency to get a little too fired up when Coach I gets fired up. Shows some of the maturity off some of these guys, as Colquitt had an easy chance to take a pop even though the whistles were there and just didn't do anything.
No doubt, and we saw a similar play before where the guy takes an extra 3-4 steps and does it. So good restraint, being able to contain that emotion, which there's no doubt a lot of down on that field.
Nunez will shift the pocket, throws over the middle, pass in the air, intercepted by COC. A deflected pass, picked off by Mackay Newton, and the Cougars get another takeaway, their 4th of the ball game.
Mackay Newton out of Golden Valley High School coming up with a big play for the Cougars off the tip. And College of the Canyons is back in business with 11:23 here to go. It's the exact play that Coach Corbett needed from his defensive unit. And let's see if we can turn the tables here for the Cougars here.
And that one, Nunez just a little bit too much on it. Zipped it towards Broy, who was still turning in his route. It went off his hands. So now the Cougars go back to work. 1st and 10 on their own 45-yard line. Emery Floyd stays as the quarterback. I believe it's Malik Brooks to his right here. Floyd will throw, looking right, pass complete to a wide open target.
That's going to be Damari Smith
over
there on the sideline.
Forgot to flip my board. I was looking down for 11, and I saw Fullerton numbers.
Hauled it in and tried to juke and jive to get a few more. But a nice positive outcome there on 1st down.
6-yard gain for the Cougars here.
And College of the Canyons needs to continue to build on that. We've talked about it a couple times. You get the turnover, you get a positive play on 1st down. Now let's continue. Little things become big things. Let's continue to move forward and play mistake-free football, Matt. That's the most important thing right here.
Brooks to Floyd's left. Floyd throws incomplete, and maybe lucky it wasn't picked off as he was trying to find Smith again. Running towards him was Kadari Kearns, and I don't think Kearns ever saw the football because he could have made a play on it.
Absolutely. I don't think he even looked up. He was locked onto that receiver. And kind of ball, I think, might have crossed his face there.
Yeah.
So a break for the Cougars, and could it be more pivotal of a 3rd down here? College of the Canyons really needs to maintain possession.
Got to get to the plus 45. Ball spotted at the plus 49. Floyd looking to his right the whole way, throwing downfield. Pass incomplete. Was intended once again for Travis Royal and just a bit overthrown. And then Floyd took a hit right at the end of the throw.
Again, Floyd showing some arm strength there. I feel like he didn't even really wind up. He just kind of flicked it and got downfield. Credit to him taking the hit and popping back up. But again, College of the Canyons coming away empty-handed here. You know, the big turnover was nice, but it doesn't mean anything if you don't execute on that.
It's the 4th turnover on Fullerton and the 4th time the Cougars really have not, other than the fumble early in the first half, Only 7 points off those 4 turnovers so far. Have not been able to capitalize. As a fair catch made at the 15-yard line by Fullerton. A good punt once again from Johnson. Fair catch was made by Jeremy Gonzalez. And the Hornets will take over at their own 15, so another pinned inside the 20.
And we talked about the special teams unit. Didn't really get to see a lot of them in here in week 1. Having an opportunity here tonight. Have fared well for this Cougar team. You know, it's just that Fullerton has been able to overcome that field position.
The big number of the day so far is 3 of 12 on third down for COC, just 25%. Fullerton 8 of 12. So it'll be Nunez in the backfield with 2 backs. I would imagine Fullerton a steady dose of Davis the third as he stiff arms the first man. Can't get around the second and the third as Massey, one of the guys, in on the tackle. It's a gain of maybe 1.5 yards, 2 yards. It'll bring second down.
And again, no urgency here. Content to let things tick.
As you're inside 10 minutes right now. Nunez will send a man in motion here on second down. Wanted to throw. He's going to get wrapped up in the backfield for a sack. And in there was Colquitt, who we saw earlier run through and nearly had one, if not for the offside play or the false start.
You're going to see right here, Colquitt got in there. Was able to take him down.
Alameo was there as well.
Alameo was there. A lot of bodies in there. And so, again, here you go. You got the play to set it up. And can you capitalize now when you get this ball back? Still a long third down to go.
So 3rd and 17. Hornets need to get to the 25. They'll give Vakapuna plenty of room. Not good for COC. They need to make a tackle, and they do. But it's not going to be good enough to stop the first down as Vakapuna with a huge hole, an 18-yard gain. Lameo on the tackle, and Fullerton finds a way on third down once again. Their 9th third down conversion of the ballgame.
And a big chunk play again, you know, well blocked and executed. That hole was there, and that's all the space that he needed. College of Cannon's going to have to do a better job than that.
So 1st and 10 here. Vakapuna stays as the lone back. Fullerton with a couple of extra big bodies on the line of scrimmage here as they've got 2 tight ends in there, so 12 personnel. Taking their time as Vakapuna doesn't get it. Instead, it's Nunez, and he's knocked down after a gain of 1 yard by Joseph Marsh.
Marsh over there again, number 23. And continues to make plays for this Cougar defense. But again, the clock continues to tick.
Fullerton wearing a lot of time off the clock. We're inside 8 minutes now, so they've taken 2 off since that 3rd and 17, really. Taking every ounce of the play clock they can, which is sitting at 10 right now. Again, 12 personnel, that 2 tight ends set for Fullerton right now. Vakapuna doesn't get it again. Nunez gets the keep, and he's brought down to the backfield. Back there with him was Kiajczyk, would knock him down.
And a nice job again. You know, despite having the double tights in there and the big boys up front with tightened up splits, College of the Canyon's able to get into the backfield and set up another long third down.
So we'll call it 3rd and 13.
And Fullerton, as we just saw, not afraid to run in these situations. So the Cougars have to be prepared for everything.
Play clock inside 10. Fullerton's taking another minute off with just that one play. Inside of 7 minutes to go.
A conversion here would be especially hurtful.
Vakapuna breaks a tackle, has a blocker out in front. I'm surprised there's not a flag, and there is. Vakapuna, this one going to come all the way back as he's all the way inside the 25-yard line. But there was a huge clutch and grab along the outside on the play, and the official able to get it and put the flag down on the field right at the 30-yard line. You'll take a look at it here.
Yeah, you're going to see it right there on the outside.
68, I believe. Andrew Sanders, the second, maybe going to be called for it. Yeah.
And you see right there the ball carrier just kind of emerges out of that general spot in upfield. But again, credit to Fullerton, not afraid to run the ball there and almost able to pick it up.
What that does do for COC is stops the clock at 6:41, moves the ball back to the 25-yard line, puts Fullerton in a 3rd and long as they need to get to the 37.
You know, and you would general notion.
I say 25, it's the 20-yard line.
You'd line up and bring the house right here, but again, the ability for them to hand off the ball and still find positive yards in these situations, this point of the field, College of the Canyons is going to have to really buckle down here.
Davis in there is the back. He'll get the handoff, tries to get the corner, does, but he's clipped out of bounds on a good little foot tackle by Clipperly that time to knock him out of play.
Stops the clock once again, or there it goes again. But, you know, again, College of the Canyons here going to have to, I think, really step up and take some strikes, really force the issue, needing 2 scores.
Who's punting? Thank you. The yellow team's catching it.
Fullerton will kick it away here. Mamana back to kick. Travis Royal standing back at the 35-yard line. Mamana's left-footed kick, this time a wobbly one that's going to be taken at the 32-yard line and pretty much going to be knocked down right at the 30 is Royal, as that's where they'll give him the spot, so the Cougars will take over. 1st and 10, 5:53, trailing by 12. You got to have 6 here.
Yeah,
there's no doubt.
It's imperative. You have to come up. There's no more. We'll get them next time, next drive. See what happens. You have to force the issue here. You have to get downfield, and you have to come away with points.
Remember, Chick-fil-A providing a Player of the Game sponsorship. We'll give one of the student athletes some food after the game. Decided on by us, the coaching staff, whoever we can get to decide on it. We'll see. But just want to give another shout-out to Chick-fil-A as we go 1st and 10 here from the 30-yard line for COC. Emery Floyd will go back to work. This time the Cougars a couple extra bodies in to protect. Floyd looking downfield, trying for a man, incomplete. Was trying to find Cameron Bowen and just out of his reach into double coverage. As over there was Kanari Kearns, one of the man in on coverage for Fullerton.
Yeah, definitely the right idea there, forcing the issue down the field. College of the Canyons, if you can't get the big chunk, a penalty works just as well at this point, but you have to move forward, you have to progress, and you've got to get in there.
So 5:30 to go. Clock is stopped. The ball spotted at the 30-yard line of the Cougars. Floyd has Brooks in the backfield protecting. Pass along the outside. Caught and dropped and incomplete as it was intended for Noah Staples.
Yeah, just had it for a second. Just a perfect hit by the defender right in the hip and just jars that ball loose.
So call it 3rd down and 10. 30-yard line. The Cougars 0 for 2 throwing the ball here. But at this point, that's kind of where you're at. You got to throw the ball because you got to have a quick strike. Floyd 9 of 23 for 122 yards on the day and a touchdown. So step back to pass. Runs this time. Slips one man. Got knocked down right at the 35-yard line, so a gain of 5. And now it's go time, I think.
Yeah, you got to go for it. There's no movement there. And now here they come. But, you know, they thought about it. Just can't this side of the field. You got to let your defense go out there and try and make a play for you. Unfortunately, less than 5 minutes. But Coach I's hands kind of tied here. Especially with the prowess of the Fullerton offense, you know, able to just kind of grind it out. And at this point in the field, you've got to feel good about getting at least 3 more points. But College of the Canyons back up against the wall now.
Johnson will kick it away. This one a good kick, plenty of leg on it. Fair catch called for at the 15-yard line once again. That's the second time today we've seen Gonzalez make a running backwards catch.
I mean, 2 great catches for that young man, but probably a couple heart stoppers for the Fullerton coaching staff. But definitely flashing a skill set there.
So the Cougar defense going to be called upon once again here. 4:28 to go. Fourth quarter, we're in a 26-14 game.
Well, let's see, Matt, who's going to make a play and who's going to finish this mistake-free. Fullerton in control, clock on their side. College of the Canyons with a lot of fight left.
As they'll give Davis the third, fighting his way up the field, picks up 5, maybe 6 yards. And a nice little run for Davis, as he's had a nice little game.
Clock continues to tick, as it will for the remainder here. Under 4 to go.
So we'll go 2nd down and 3 for Fullerton. Nunez taking all the time he can. 10 on the play clock here. Has Davis behind him in the backfield. I wouldn't expect the Hornets to rush anything and just run the football. It's going to be a steady diet of Davis, Nunez, or Vakapuna. As Garrett Davis III, not much there. So we'll call it 3rd down, or 4th down and 4 here for Fullerton. It's 3rd down. Actually, it is 3rd down. 3rd down on the down marker. It's 4th down on the scoreboard. So Nunez taking his time. He's going to run it. He's going to try and get the edge, and a 1st down and more. He's inside the 40, cross midfield, down to the Cougar 40-yard line, drugged down at about the 35, and that might just about do it for Fullerton here. Has a huge run for Nunez. So the ball down to the 37-yard line. A huge gain here for Fullerton as Nunez, a gigantic chunk. And now the Cougars got to try and get the ball out at the very least as you're at 2:10 to go. As Nunez will give Vakapuna. Got to the line. You can see the hands in there from COC trying to strip and nothing there.
The old CPR, club punch rip, do whatever you can to get that ball on the ground. Unfortunately, with under 2 minutes left, it might not be enough time, even if you are able to jar one loose. And the Cougars here still looking for an opportunity, but the clock continues to dwindle, and it doesn't look like it's going to be in their fate, at least this evening.
So it'll be 2nd down and 9. Ball spotted at the 36, 1:25 to go. So Fullerton not even really needing a 1st down. Coach Iacenta not using timeouts to stop the clock and extend the game at this point in time, hoping to get the ball back. Vakapuna right up the middle, met by a couple of bodies. Brought down at the 32-yard line. Clock will tick inside of a minute here before Fullerton runs off their next play. 55 seconds to go. 3rd and 5 here for the Hornets, and they can pretty much take this one all the way down inside of 30 seconds if they'd like. Maybe just a second short of it. There's about a 1 second difference between, they'll take it down to 31. It's Vakapuna on the handoff. Not going to have enough for a 1st down. Cougars aren't going to call a timeout, and that will pretty much do it for the ball game as Fullerton can let the final few seconds run off. They'll take it a 26-14 victory over College of the Canyons. For Fullerton, they improved to 2-0 on the year. For COC, they fall to 0-2 for the first time since 2014 when they lost to Mount Sac and Citrus. That year they finished 4-6, hopefully looking for a better outlook this year. When we have a moment, the player of the game today for COC is Joseph Marsh. Had a nice game defensively for the Cougars, as Chick-fil-A going to give him a gift card for some food. Marsh, 3 tackles, all of them solo tackles, 2 tackles for a loss for 5 total yards. So a nice game for the young man. Made a couple of big plays, just on the wrong end of the outcome today for COC.
Yeah, continues to be an impact player through the first 2 weeks of the 2023 season. Had another strong game tonight. And look, hey, both sides of the ball had their moments. The defense came away with some stops, some turnovers when they needed to. Same with the offense. I liked what I saw at Emory Floyd. But this was a tough Fullerton team. And I think the coaching staff would agree, the mistakes set you back in the first half. And from there, it was just trying to play catch up. So hats off to the Hornets. And congratulations to Joseph Marsh. And a special thank you to Chick-fil-A for sponsoring our Player of the Game segment.
So a 26-14 victory for Fullerton. They take it and move to 2-0. The Cougars fall to 0-2 for the first time since 2014. We'll be back at it next week on the 16th here from Cougar Stadium Town, here on the Cougar Sports Network, SoCal College Sports, and SCBTV.com. Make sure you check COCathletics.com and the Cougar Sports Network YouTube page for our other live streams. We'll have a big week this week, a couple of soccer matches and a volleyball match as well. So we hope you join us for those. We'll see you next week, if not for football, here from Cougar Stadium. For Emory Johnson, Jesse Munoz, Matt Robinson, have a good night, everybody.
At Jersey Mike's, they freshly slice your sub right in front of you, which takes some training.
Sliced right in front of you. The Jersey Mike's thing. A sub above.